I mean,
Yeah.
I wanted to have a Morgul blade as well, but again,
Oh,
there just
Morgul
wasn't,
blade.
My
wasn't
brother's
the
Morgul
availability in the points.
My man just.
I've just been dipped down on the podcast.
Sam, you're literally Frodo right now. Just
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. So today we are doing another event preview for a GBHL 100 that is upcoming this weekend. It is all the way in Stirling, so the boys here are going to be taking a trip up to Scotland on Friday. It is at 800 points. It is a good v evil event, and we're going to be running through all the lists that Ash, Sam, and James are taking. Adam and I aren't going, and then a couple other lists that we've had in from some friends of ours. So we are going to get underway by not looking at some of the lists, but we are going to be looking at some of the scenarios, because for this particular event, there's 6 games and all 6 of the scenarios are confirmed ahead of time. So, and they're in order as well. So you know which game you're playing first and last. So for the audio listener, the first game is called the Scouring, which is a modified version of Heirlooms. Game 2 is Lords of Battle. Then we have Clash by Moonlight, Reconnoiter, Capture Control, and you finish off with Destroy the Supplies. So do we want to start with Heirlooms? What is the modifications that we have for that scenario?
So, go on, Sam.
Oh,
That's controversial. Have you got it up?
No, it's just the
Well, you need to explain what a major minor is first.
No, I'm saying the modifying.
So we'll start off. A total of 185 points are available to each player over the course of the tournament, and each of the 6 games will use the following scoring system. For a major victory, the winner receives 30 points and the loser receives no points. For a minor victory, the winner receives 25 points and the loser receives 5 points. If you draw, both players receive a very healthy 15 points. Now I'll pass over to my best friend Sam to explain whatever I just said.
Yeah, so I think the change for Heirlooms, now the Scouring, is it's just the actual heirloom isn't worth 6 anymore, it's worth 5, and you gain an extra VP for break and broken, so you can still win without having the heirloom by killing leader, breaking, and having a banner, and they don't.
This is correct.
wasn't this like the same way that Ali modified it at City of Kings? I thought there was another event that's basically done the same thing.
Similar.
So basically, to achieve a major victory, you must have more victory points than your opponent and be in possession of the relic at the end of the game. So you can still win the game by not having the heirloom, but you can't get a major victory unless you have the heirloom, which is quite, I like it.
It is the point of the scenario, I guess, to try get the relic. So for maximum points, you need to have it.
So game 2 is Lords of Battle. Do you know this one, Sam? It's like a quiz now.
You'd have to double them, and I think it's just double them, isn't it?
To achieve a major victory in Lords of Battle, you must have more victory points than your opponent and have a wound tally at least twice as large as your opponent.
Yeah, so it's not only about the victory points, there are sort of other conditions as well to be met. Is that everything for Lords?
That's everything for Lords.
Yeah. Clash?
I think Clash is just you basically play the scenario normally where you get the major victory if you have killed more heroes and have still a hero alive, essentially.
Oh, you missed one. 2 marks. To achieve a major victory, you must have more victory points than your opponent, have broken the enemy force, have killed more heroes than your opponent, and have at least 1 hero alive.
Okay. You have to have...
Recon?
Yeah.
I imagine it's either have at least 2 models off, potentially 3, and maybe break.
No. So it is, you had the first bit. To achieve a major victory in Recon, you must have more victory points than your opponent. There's a common theme with that, by the way.
Yeah.
So you then must have at least 2 of your models off the board and twice as many models off the board as your opponent. Capture and control.
I feel like you have to have more victory points than your opponent to get
Not
a
if you table
victory
them.
or major
Not if you
victory
table
in
them.
the first place.
Yeah, but then you do have more victory points because it's a 12-0 win.
It's not a 12
No,
0
you
win.
don't.
I totally
You
thought it was
still-
12-0
you
win.
can win like
Still how the victory points are scored. It just means you get an automatic win.
Someone
Yeah.
definitely told me that. Maybe, yeah.
Sounds like you've been scammed, mate.
why the hell they lying?
Capture control.
What a mind.
So sorry. Capture control. To achieve a major victory, you must have more victory points than your opponent. And you score 2 victory points. Sorry. And score 2 victory points on at least 3 of the objectives. So
They're not 3 more.
It's 3 or more. So you have to win 4. You have to hold 4 of them, and they hold 1, I think.
Or if you have 3 and they have none.
Yeah.
sorry,
If it's
yes.
3 or
it
more,
is.
why can't
Yeah.
you just have 3?
So it could be
No, you have to have 3 more than your opponent.
And
Yeah,
two
they have
neutral.
3 more. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Sorry, I
only
read
hard.
that wrong.
It's hard.
You
That
need
one.
to score 2 victory points on at least 3 more objectives than
Yeah.
your opponent. So you can
Oh,
win
I see.
4-1 or 3-0, basically, to get a major. So that's actually quite a difficult one.
Destroy supplies.
You must have destroyed at least 2 more supply markers than your objective. Than your opponent.
Okay, so yeah, those are the changes for the scenarios. Well, sort of like the victory point conditions. So all these lists that we're going to be looking at have obviously wrote them with all those things in mind. So
Let us know in the comments below if you enjoy modified scenarios.
What do we think of the scenarios, boys? Those 6.
I don't
They
like
are
it
probably the
naturally.
5 of the 6 best scenarios in the game.
Yeah.
I wonder
just
what one it
apart from
isn't.
heirlooms.
I
Yeah,
don't like the first 2.
I like Lords. Lords is fun.
Lords is
I like
Lords is
Lords.
the best killing scenario.
Lords is fun.
Way better
Yeah.
than to the death.
Yep.
You know, like the tally.
God, I'm still angry I
even-
wasn't on the scenario tier list.
Yeah. Check our opinions compared to the previous pod.
Yeah.
Ash's opinions won't be in there. So for anyone that doesn't like Ash's ramblings, that's a good one. To
Ah, 1-0, Elliot. Fair
yeah,
enough.
Heirlooms is definitely the worst one there. I think that's fairly.
It's good that they put that first then, right?
Yeah,
That's
at
why they
least,
did it, I think.
at least
Yeah.
it's modified, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Another thing that makes this quite interesting is heirlooms is a scenario that if somebody like you'd expect, say, like the top 5 in the league to usually win an event if first round against a newer player, but a newer player in heirlooms can beat anybody because they just pick up the heirloom and then that's it. I know it's a little bit modified in this, so
That's why it's a terrible scenario.
you could come back at it, but yeah, it's interesting that it's first because it means you could get some results that you wouldn't expect, like I don't know, me losing to Sam, for example.
He should do it game 1 on day 2, so that people can't just not turn up to day 2 instead of game 1.
The thing I mean, I guess it just depends if you prefer it or not. Is there's 2 banner scenarios in this, which is interesting choice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
First and last. So I don't know what people's thoughts on that.
Even with banners, destroy the supplies, I think, is still one of the best scenarios.
Yep.
As we ranked in our scenario.
Yeah, Recon's great. Clash is still good. It's
They're
interesting.
just
that
they're missing breakthrough.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
actually
Breakthrough
like
was in
capture
here.
and
That would
control
be
more.
capture control is really, really good as well, though.
Capture and control
Fantastic.
is really good fun
Fantastic. Yeah.
because it just changes all the time. Last turn, like it's really good.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the scenarios.
Yeah.
No qualms.
You guys are going on a
And-
very long drive to play them, so
Only 6 hours
good to get
minimum.
more into it. I was quite surprised when Sam said it was only 6 hours. I thought it was going to be like an 8-hour.
Well, it would be
Bonanza.
8 hour from Super Pompey, but because we're not.
Southern scum are coming to invest
We are.
everyone in the Scot.
You are sorry. Yeah, I was
Yes.
going to go, but I'm not now. Shame. Okay, so let's move on and start looking at our first list, which is from the lovely Michael Bradford. So thank you very much, Michael, for sending over your list.
Shout out to Michael.
For the audio listener, he has taken a Arnor and Rivendell alliance, which does Glorfindel is Avdui Valor. I assume Glorfindel's the leader. or maybe Arvedui because he wants to chuck Glorfindel in, but Glorfindel's got Fortified Spirit, so I'm not too sure. I could check that. But from Arnor, he's taken Arvedui with 7 Warriors of Arnor, 1 with a banner, and 7 Rangers with Spear. He's got Malbeth with another 8 Warriors of Arnor, Captain of Arnor leading 4 Warriors, 2 Rangers with Spear, 1 Normal Ranger, and 1 Hobbit Archer. And then from the Rivendell part, he's got Glorfindel with the horse and armor, leading 1 Elf with Spear Shield, 1 Rivendell Knight, and then Círdan leading the same for 40 models on the nose. It's a yellow alliance, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. Let's check on who the leader is. But 40 models, it's got Terra. What do we think?
It's a shame that Sam has just despawned because we had a call while we were meant to be working and discussed all of this. Oh, he's whipped out a Peroni. That's a lemon drink.
Lovely.
Sam, I was just saying how we talked about all these lists earlier.
Yeah.
And one of the things we thought about is, are we mistaken that the fearless that Arvedui gives Arnold is the army bonus?
It is,
No,
but you have
yeah.
Círdan instead, so...
Yes, but Círdan is easily bullied with a Sut Will, especially in Good versus Evil.
True.
I mean, he's got basically 2 free dice to resist with.
He does, yeah. But you know, if
He also then has to cast.
you,
Like,
yeah,
if he's out of will, then he's using that to resist. Like, yeah.
and if you nullify Círdan, he has a front rank of Courage 2. If you're playing a terrible Harbinger, down to Courage 1. It seems Círdan is very, very important, and if he can protect him, great. If he, if Círdan isn't protected, it could be difficult.
Agreed. Yeah, no, you've echoed. I mean, the point that we said earlier. Yeah,
Did Elliot say who the leader was?
Oh yeah, shit. That's totally what I was.
it's gonna be Glorfindel.
I just let's see.
Should be Glorfindel, really. But...
Yeah, it's Glorfindel,
It
definitely.
is. Yeah.
It is Glorfindel, which is, Arvedui, it not being your leader, is quite a nice little 3 attack, fight 5 strength 4 hero just to chuck in and start causing carnage. Does Malbeth Seer save non-Arnor models? No, so it only saves the Arnor stuff as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like a list that synergizes,
No, it doesn't. What this is someone who's looked at our episode, realised Arnor are amazing,
Yeah,
and then thrown in. Círdan's obviously one of the best heroes in the game.
Yeah,
Glorfindel is fine, but he's quite untargetable as a leader, very resistant to magic and all that. Which makes me think Círdan's in even more trouble, because if I were going against this list with any sort of caster, I would just go at Círdan and try and get rid of him.
1000%.
Because there's almost no point casting on Glorfindel. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it. Like, I don't know really what it's trying to do. It's like, it's not quite, it's 800 points, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a horde, but not really.
Not really. No.
Bang average numbers. But it does have Círdan. And if it does work, what you've got is Círdan causing terror. So you've got all these Arnor warriors that cause terror, fight 4, defense 6 with a 5 up save. Like, that's actually really good on paper. The question is exactly what was previously mentioned by Ash, which is if someone deals with Círdan, I don't know what this list is doing.
Yeah, it isn't doing much.
If I saw this list, I would expect it to have around like the more 50 model mark. Like if this had 50 models, it would be just way better. Like I'd see the reason to take it. But 40...
I mean, it's got a fair amount of might at 10, but it's
okay. So another issue is the first game is Heirlooms, which is Nostrum.
Oh,
so what he's got Círdan. He's got Círdan. Círdan can come on. Then he's got Malbeth, who has also 1 might, right?
yeah.
Okay, he can come on. And then your Captain Arnor, you're spending all his might to turn up where they are. hoping that they didn't end up in different places. Then you're bringing on Arvedui. Okay, you'll happily spend his might to turn up. And then Glorfindel, would you spend his might? I guess you have to. So it looks like quite a reactive sort of might train of thought.
Yeah, and like about the might, like 10 is pretty good when you see elves, but this isn't an elf list, really. Like
There's only
so
6 elves.
6 elves. So like in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that much different.
13 bows, maybe, with Blinding Light, if he's going for the Lords of Battle scenario. This is a good one for Lords of Battle, to be fair. With the Blinding Light, the 13 shots, you can sit at the back of the map. I wouldn't really want to play this with Witch King Sully at Lords of Battle.
I was wondering generally how good we're thinking bows in general are, considering the scenarios for this event. Because you've got things like Clash, Destroy Supplies, where you can play more defensive.
We'll get onto my list obviously later, but I did in the end decided to go for maximum bows because of the scenarios. Recon, Clash, Lords, Destroy the Supplies. 4 of the 6 scenarios shooting is really, really important.
It's only really capture and control. The bows aren't going to come too much into it.
Yeah, capture and controls, you're never going to use your bows in that. But also you've got a 50% chance of not even playing, your bow list, for example. You could play your good versus evil. So maybe Michael's going into this thinking, the perfect run for him is he plays his evil list, heirlooms, which when you'll see in a minute is very good at heirlooms. Then he plays this at Lords, and then he's got 2 favourable scenarios, 1 and 2. I guess
2 things.
Think of anything about that.
2 things we didn't maybe talk about is being good v evil, you're guaranteed to play 3 games. How is with each list how is that worked out?
So,
one player rolls 1 to 3 or like 4 to 6, see which they're using, and then you alternate in games 1, 3, 5 to 2, 4, 6.
So that sort of leads it on to the next thing. So is it like how
it is decided at the start of the day?
No, wait. So in your first, 3rd, and 5th game, the oldest player rolls. So 1 to 3, they're playing evil. 4, 6, they're playing good. Yeah,
that makes sense. So you re-roll every other game.
Yeah.
Is it like how it was at War, where?
So
exactly how it was, where you're put into like pods? Yeah, Sam, you remember.
So no, you don't get to put into pods. Everyone rolls that game 1. You play your good versus evil, and then obviously the good versus evil pods are then split into 50-50. 50% play their good, 50% play their evil. Then they if all the people that played their good cannot play each other game 2, it's just not possible because they're using the same army.
Yeah.
So then they just get paired across as best as possible. So you might have someone that won his first game, but due to who won and who lost, they get paired down. So they might play a person who lost their first game, but
it'll be as close as with like the tiebreakers or like the first tiebreaker. Yeah. Okay. So
and then game 3. So you do that, then you go to game 3. It goes back to Swiss pairings. Everyone's playing normal. Top plays 2nd, 3rd plays 4th. Then you roll, and so on and so forth until whatever.
Yeah,
I think this is quite a good segue into actually discussing what we think about good versus evil tournaments, because I have heard from a lot of comments on Facebook and stuff, and just sort of general chit chat that.
So you read then? Sorry, but yeah.
What did I say?
Did you heard?
Yes.
To Facebook.
Sorry, I meant to. It talks to me in my sleep. No, I meant to say like I've heard at tournaments and through people that they think the game should be played good versus evil, and that's how the game is sort of
interesting
designed in mind.
I don't agree with that.
I don't necessarily
think
agree
the
with
game
that
was designed with that in mind.
That's what people genuinely say. I mean, I don't know.
Every designed part of the game does play in good versus evil, to be fair.
I would agree that it was designed for
to
that.
work
Obviously,
at its best.
Match play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like designed. Adam's probably got
match play is somewhat on their mind. Obviously, yes, the scenario content and everything is important, but obviously, I think the entire sphere.
When I said match play doesn't matter, I mean it doesn't matter if it's good versus evil or not.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't care about that, obviously, because that would be stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think
Yeah,
it's a
maybe
nice
do.
thing to be able to have at certain tournaments. You can build your list in specific ways, something you may not necessarily bring one time, you'd bring a different time. Just makes a little bit of variation, which is quite nice.
You know what it makes really good? Woses.
Amen to
James
that,
Goldie would know.
sister.
Roses. That's
So, Adam,
typical.
what do you think about good versus evil? Do you think it's a good way to run an event?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do like them.
I think it's really nice to have a bit of change, something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the mix.
I'm a fan because I think that is how the game is supposed to be played. But ultimately, variety is the spice of life. So some events which are some events which are like blue and blue or good v evil. Yeah, I like a variety.
I think where as well, obviously, let's say you're just going to a normal 6-game event or whatever, the list you're taking, well, you can come up against anything in the game, but if it's going to be evil, everyone can sort of make their lists knowing they'll be playing something from the other faction in mind. So anything where you can sort of know partially what you'll be playing, the same as sort of events that confirm scenarios as well, just where you have an idea of what you'll be doing before the event. Obviously, it just makes the list building a lot more fun and interactive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is good.
I like good versus evil. I don't necessarily like having to carry around 2 armies and, if you've got 40 models, just trying to lag about 80 models for the weekend. Which,
if you had to magnetize your models, though, Ash, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But
what do you mean? I'm just a GW gamer and have the GW box. That's what you're meant to do.
Support the hobby. Okay, so we are going to move on from Michael's Rivendell and Arnold list. I'm going to move to his evil list, which is Assault on Lothlorien, something we haven't previewed in too many of our event previews in kind of the last couple months ever since the FAQ. So for the audio listener, at 800 points, he has 63 models, which is obviously led by Musgur after the FAQ, who's leading 8 orcs with spear. That's totally meant to be shield. Okay. Let me check my notes.
Classic lonely night.
I did this
Classic
very
lonely
quickly
night.
before the event. Before the pod, I'm tweaking. Is it 8 with spear or shield? Okay, it's 8 with spear. So 8 orcs with spear, 4 with shield, 1 with banner, and a bat swarm. Then he has an orc shaman leading 6
More
with spear,
spearmen.
3 with shield. The second one is the
spearmen.
shield every time. So 3 with shield, 1 orc tracker on warg, and 2 orc trackers. Then he has an orc captain on warg, leading a warg rider with throwing spear and a wild warg. He has Druizag leading 3 goblins with bow, 4 with bow and spear, 5 prowlers, a bat, and 2 venomback spiders. As he has Ashrak as well, leading 5 goblins with bow, 4 with bow and spear, 5 prowlers, and another venomback spider. So 63 models for AOL 800. Is a shit ton. What do we think?
Am I
This is
imagining
hella
this?
scary.
I might be wrong here. I thought you had to have the same
Might be
amount of goblin and orc heroes.
Oh yeah, he
No,
did.
it's just warriors.
heroes.
They
No,
have
no,
to be an even number.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So
He even sent this. Yeah, he said
Yeah.
29. So he has 29 orcs and 28 goblins in the list.
Right, got ya.
19 bows. Hella scary.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is very good. I think people have sort of slept on AOL and also slept on Assault upon Helm's Deep because I don't think they've actually got that much worse, especially when you can get 63 models.
Assault on Helm's Deep definitely got worse. This hasn't, but it hasn't got worse at certain points levels. Like it's harder to reach what you want.
Assault on Helm's Deep is still good though.
Yeah, but it's definitely got worse.
I think it's if you work out. I mean, it's definitely got worse. Agreed,
Yeah.
but like it hasn't got.
Agreement.
It hasn't been absolutely cold. It's like got maybe. I don't know. You could probably work out the.
Didn't
number
have the
hits that you
army of
get from
Lake Town treatment.
No.
Yeah.
It's like
I
the
think-
Army Lake Town treatment was it was intended to be low points. Assault on Helm's Deep. I mean, Blinding Light is now actually bad. Again, like is actually really bad for it.
Yeah.
Because previously you just basically got 2 dice to try and get a 6
Yeah.
in every single ballista.
But this, I don't know if 800 points is one of the points levels that AOL still is still really good at. I think it was 700 is still one of them. But this is totally scary. I mean, it's 2 trackers and then the rest can still shoot. So the 19 bows, I guess you can maybe think of them as 17 because the trackers
17.
can't shoot until they're in 12.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's what, 10 prowlers?
Yeah.
And I imagine 3 bats. I know Michael's a 3 bat man. Was it 2?
2 bats. 2 bats,
Okay.
3 spiders. Yeah.
Okay.
It just
warg
is
to enrage.
so many models with the +1 to wounds.
Hmm.
You're also not fight 2 everywhere, so the fight 3 kind of gives it a little bit. You're not going to be outfought by absolutely everything.
Still probably things though, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I do like it.
It is heavily reliant on its shooting. Let's be fair. If the shooting doesn't go well, this list is going to have a bad time in combat. But if it can kill, 5, 6, 7 models on the way in, you're going to really struggle, especially when you're starting getting 4v1, 4v2 on your battle line, and then they get a +1 to wound. And then you got to deal with the spiders and the bats, and all the transfixes coming in on your heroes.
And obviously he's got Ashrak, so there's potential,
Invisible
shadows
shenanigans.
stuff.
You say the transfixes. An Orc Shaman doesn't have transfix, right?
I think it does. I think
It does.
Yeah.
Pretty sure all shamans do.
No, I mean I know the Angmar one has Wither, and that's it. Also,
No, the Orc.
The
The
Goblin
Orc-
Shaman definitely does. I don't know
yeah,
about
the
Orc
Goblin one
Shaman, to be
does. I
fair.
don't know if the I
I think it
remember
does.
if the Orc
I'm
one
almost
did.
positive it does. Yeah, I'll check.
Yeah, I'm with
Someone
Elliot.
look it
I'm
up.
pretty sure it does.
It totally may do, but I mean, if not,
No,
it's
it totally does. I remember playing against Will's Warg Rider.
Yeah, it's a
list
5 up.
and the Shaman.
Okay, so yeah, it's the same as thing. So you still do have 2 there, but you could normally have like maybe potentially 3 in the old one.
Yeah.
So it's not as like offensive magic or transfix and stuff as it was. It's
I
still
don't know. The reroll is pretty offensive.
Adam, are you pouring water into another cup? I'm just I'm interested in what you're doing. Is that just water?
Yeah, so I'm doing something that some people in the hobby do, called painting.
I see.
Well, I'm doing it now.
I was just a bit confused. I was like, why?
Just topping up my wet palette, keeping it wet.
So you have a.
Why did you say it like that?
wet.
I'm not sure how much painting you boys do.
Adam likes to keep it wet.
Don't have the skill for a wet palette.
No, honestly, it's a skill multiplier. Like you can go in with very little skill; it just makes it better.
A wet palette is very, very good. Do I have mine here? We are a wet palette gang. Wet palettes are the way.
There you go.
Best 20 quid I ever spent.
There you
Dry
go.
brush vibe.
They are very
Yeah,
good.
I mean, this list is definitely good. I'll be intrigued to see how many blinding lights and if it affects it that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we think it plays any better or worse because of it will be playing only into good lists?
Definitely worse
Definitely worse, yeah.
because good has lots of blinding light. You're more likely to face a blinding
And
light
there's
list.
less fight 3 warriors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another good point.
Usually lower model count, which does benefit this.
True.
Yeah.
Ash, you were saying that you thought in certain scenarios his evil list, so this one was going to be really good. What were those?
Yeah, so if Michael plays this with heirlooms, he's obviously got invisible spiders and bats to fly around the board and get all the objectives, dig up all the heirlooms. However, if he played this in Lords of Battle, having 63 models, them all being very squishy,
Yeah, isn't
a good
As
matchup.
well
so-
as lots of multi-wound models to get Mike back.
as
and
well as
stuff.
lots of multi-room models.
very true.
So Michael is very hard hoping that the first 2 scenarios
Go well.
allows him to play this with heirlooms and then his Arnor list in Lords to get the maximum sort of.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
The
a
best.
massive, I don't think you do get the mic back in Lords for multi-wood models. I think it's only contest.
I don't know.
It's only
What is
for heroes you do.
let me check.
If your leader kills thingy, but
But it's also got a few squishy heroes that you could kill.
Yeah.
There's definitely something in Lords where you get Mike back. But
It's
yeah,
for killing heroes.
it's for heroes.
only
Multi-wood
killing
models is contest.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, recon in this is pretty gross as well. Because how many, 3 spiders, 2 bats, a wild warg, a war rider,
And he can make them invisible, so they can just go lol
Yeah.
through terrain.
and march.
Lol.
Yeah, not for me, this one. I wouldn't want to play this in recon.
Yeah,
I don't
playing this
think
in
it's-
recon is real bad.
So I don't think it's that bad into good lists because most good lists are at fight 4, maybe fight 5. So you're not like wasting your fight 2.
No.
What
Yeah.
you don't want is to be facing fight 3, I think, with this army.
But remember, it's now got a lot more orcs.
Well, spam fight 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spam fight 4
4.
would probably be the worst.
Yeah.
I guess okay with fight 3 because then it matches in areas.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah.
played like 60 model Arnor, that'd be absolutely stinky.
Yeah, that would be its worst
Yeah,
worst
D6,
case
sure.
scenario.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's a good list.
I think Michael's definitely got the potential to do well with this.
Yeah, he's used AOL quite a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
yeah, we'll see how he does. Okay, moving on. We have Ivan's Riders of Theoden list. So it is 800 points. And it is classic Riders of Theoden. He's gone full hero spam. So he has Theoden on horse with armor and shield, leading 3 riders with throwing spear and 4 royal guard with horse and throwing spear. Then he has Aemir with horse, shield, and throwing spear, leading 3 riders with throwing spear and 4 regular riders. Then he has Gamling with the banner, Derwine, Elfhelm, and Dernhelm. So and they all have throwing spears where they can, of course. So it's 21 models, 800 points. Riders of Theoden. Is this any different to another makeup of it that you can see at 800?
I ran something with all the heroes that had just pure Royal Guard and all throwing spears and got 20 models. So I'm intrigued.
With the same heroes?
Wise. Oh yeah, I'd also had all the named heroes, yeah. So
Okay.
he's just gone for some bows as well mixed in.
Yeah, I guess maybe he wanted bows for the scenarios because we said they can be quite good. He's got 10 of
This
them.
is very scary if it charges in and calls death, and you just have to keep your fingers crossed. They don't
Yeah.
roll well
Hopefully
enough.
you do what I did and just win like 80% of the roll-offs and you just don't really lose.
If you've got quite good evil shooting on the way in, you could do some damage to this.
Yeah. That would suck.
I mean,
Track-
something like Michael's AOL could pick this apart pretty easily.
Michael's AOL is horrendous for this.
For this. Yeah.
That's a really good point,
models
James.
And magic. Yeah. Lots of
Because they have to take one turn
heroes.
of shooting.
Has take turn shoot, he's got great hero killing power, high movement as well. It's
And he
just
can just shoot in
everything is
combat.
bad.
Anyway, yeah.
Everything is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wanted some riders in there for the bows. And I mean, Ivan's, very good at using these kinds of all hero lists, so he knows what he's doing.
Or hero shenanigans. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
I'd be scared to play this. It comes unstuck against shooting. Probably comes unstuck a little bit against magic as well, but you've got
You've got so
7
many
heroes.
it doesn't really matter.
You have to pick them off very quickly. You have to transfix, kill a hero,
Yeah.
transfix, kill a hero every turn.
It's only going to take 1 round of shooting, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he marches with every hero. Like, every hero, I think, has march except for Aemir, right? And Dernhelm.
Daewine does.
Maybe.
Sure. But, there's loads of march.
Don't think
Yeah,
Elfhelm
with the
does
free.
either.
18 might be the free, so yeah.
Heirlooms would be intriguing with the amount of heroes. You roll 2 every single time. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, but you've got the might to spend.
He's got the might, so I guess this is probably
Yeah.
the
But
colourless.
it does need its might, to
course,
a certain
yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
You want to keep the might to win fights. You call death. If you roll a 5, you need to might that to a 6 to win it.
I'd say it may be slightly better, especially if you come on second in heirlooms, because you can literally just spend your might to bring everything on exactly where you want it if
Yeah.
someone's got something a little bit isolated. So it can be a bit of a double-edged sword on that one. It can definitely be worse, but it can also be stronger.
Recon's an interesting one because although it's all mounted, 21 models isn't loads. So committing a certain amount of riders to go off the board and then having enough to defend them getting, X amount off to potentially keep them to get higher than their amount of riders they got off.
If you move Durnham off, would that count as 2 models, or would you have to dismount to make it 2 models?
Counts as 2.
I think it's 2 because it's
Okay.
passenger. Yeah.
Well, the scenarios are there. Lords, I mean, yeah, does all right.
Yeah.
It's
But
got a
the
lot
Lords-
of heroes to kill in Clash as well.
It does. True.
But you can kill a
well-
hero in Clash quite easily. So, but
Yeah.
this list is going to break you. So,
Got
again,
lots of vulnerabilities though potentially for Clash.
I mean, it makes that 1 turn of shooting they're going to take worse though.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like shooting and some, especially some magic casters would hurt it. Witch King not so much, just because the
I wonder what magic caster you could be on about, Samuel. Is that foreshadowing?
No.
Witch King not so much because everyone has
That's so slimy from you, Sam.
He's a
just,
slimy guy.
just dropping it in. That's all.
Sam's the Griemer to his own hero.
There's actually something that really, really ruins this list is Grima Wormtongue.
Yeah.
If you have it
Wow.
on the pure Isengard list, and Grima's like, hello Thaden, hello all of your other heroes. Good luck.
Oh my god, is that
Why is Elliot
Azog?
showing Azog?
It's Azog.
Yeah, I think Azog does very well against this as well. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Emperor potentially. We haven't really spoke about that list.
Yeah, definitely.
Emperor might be the big one. That's
If you're if we're talking about the current Witch King Sully meta, this gives Witch King Sully a very bad day.
Yes.
So let's hope I don't play Ivan.
Yeah, because you instantly have no black nums.
Yeah, they would just go.
Ah, shit.
I'll play Ivan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so that's going to do it for Ivan's good list, his Riders of Theoden. Moving on to his evil list, he is taking Ugluk Scouts. It's
Holy shit.
It's
That's a
a,
lot.
One.
it's a 59 model Ugluk Scout list. So for the audio listener, it is led by Ugluk, of course, who is leading 7 Marauders with Uruk-hai bow, another 4 with shield, and 1 with a banner. Then he has Malher leading 7 with bow, 4 with shield, and 1 with banner. Then he has a scout captain with a 2-handed weapon leading a drummer, 4 with bow and 1 with shield. Then he has Grishnak with a shield, leading 10 orc warriors with spear and shield, and then 2 with 2-handed weapon. And then Snagger from War in Rohan, leading 12 orcs with spear and shield. So 59 models, 13 my 18 strength 3 bows. Obviously, they're only 18-inch, but it's a shit ton of 8-inch moving models.
This guy in Recon is vile. This guy drums and munches so fast in 2 places.
What is it, 14 inches?
Yeah.
He'll just spend might to get on turn 1, and then, yeah, lol.
Splits his arm in half, or at least a certain point. Drummer in the center, 12-inch. Up he goes. That is pretty.
Good luck stopping that.
What
Janky.
rogue list. I do like it. Even though
It
Lords
doesn't-
of Battle, it gets destroyed.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have Blinding Light, this list could do well in Lords because it has good shooting. Like,
Get creamed.
Yeah.
how does it
if
have?
you-
Oh, I totally didn't see the 7 Uruk-hai bows in Malher's warband. I thought it was only 4 in the scouts. No,
If you look at the stats, I have spent time writing on the left-hand side, Sam.
yeah, no, I ignored that.
Question is answered.
because if like, I know they've only got 18 inches of range, but when you take into consideration the 8-inch movement, the drum, even when you're not marching, you've got 5.5 inches. So you're only 0.5 of an inch away from the person that can shoot you. And then if you march with your 13 might, which you would do, you can actually effectively outrange anyone with a 24-inch bow, which is, very scary. And then, yeah, again, if the person you're playing has Blinding Light in Lords, this is going to have a bad time. But again, as Sam said, in Recon, destroyed supplies,
Yeah.
capturing control, heirlooms. Most of the scenarios has got a good favorable matchup for this.
Ugluk is a poo leader. That's the only thing.
Yes.
True.
Apart from that, I mean, yeah, for the scenarios, it's pretty scary.
Would he take this if contest was an option? Probably not.
No.
So the fact that we know contest isn't a chance, he's like, oh yeah, let's take this really, really good maneuverable list for the 5 maneuverable scenarios that we've got.
Yeah, I don't want to play this at all, even though it's not a conventional 800-point list you'd see.
Yeah. With the scenarios,
Yeah, no, it becomes good. I rate it.
Yeah. Adam, any thoughts from yourself on Ugly Scouts?
Even things like capture and control, it's really good because you're just not getting through all those models.
And they're getting to your objectives that you can't.
And they are fight 4, strength 4 as well. Like,
they do
defense, but you've got so many of them, and everything's strength 4. Mostly, obviously, the orcs aren't.
And again, 18 inches of shooting into your own combats with strength 3 bows. You can shoot a lot of stuff out of combat.
Yeah, and
this would actually be quite good against Riders of Theoden because it's got so many models.
True. Yeah, and he's got 2 strength 5 heroes as well. Or is the captain strength? The captain should be strength 5 as well. I'm guessing because the
captain strength 5
orders are strength 4. Yeah, so 3 strength 5 heroes. Against like D7. Hunting court and stuff. Can kill some. Obviously not if they're 5/5, but yeah.
Got some good punch.
Yeah, and a 2-handed weapon he's paid 5 points for specifically on the captain. So that seems to be the plan. Okay, so that's going to do it for Ivan's Ugluk Scout list. Moving on, we have Will Champion's Good List, which is a Defenders of Helm's Deep Legendary Legion list. So it is 48 models. It's led by Theoden, of course, with heavy armor and shield. He is leading Halith, 7 Warriors of Rohan with throwing spear shield, 4 Royal Guard with throwing spear, and 6 elves with spear and bow. Then he has Gambling with the banner, leading 4 warriors with throwing spear shield, 4 Royal Guard with throwing spear, and 4 elves with bow and spear. Then he has Leggy with armor, leading 7 warriors with throwing spear shield, 3 Royal Guard with throwing spear, and 5 elves with bow and spear. So 10 might with the free from Gambling, 17 bows base, and that's before all the throwing spears. 48 models at fight 5. It's pretty legit. What do we think?
I think we need to introduce Will. As his namesake suggests, he is the champion of the GBHL last year, so he is a very good player.
For those that don't know,
for anybody that doesn't know, this is pretty scary. 48 models is very high, like it's on the higher end of the average. 17 bows too with throwing spears. I think one of the things we can ascertain from the lists we've seen so far is that shooting, people seem to think, is going to be important because of the scenarios, because every single list so far has had a good amount of shooting or anti-shooting metric, like Riders of Theoden being able to be 15 inches, that sort of thing. What are your thoughts?
I think it's really good. Having used defenders a fair amount at low points and in some practice games and stuff at higher points, I think at sort of like the 700, 750 and 800 range, sometimes people will try and get in the 4th hero. Obviously, Halith is the 4th hero, but the 5th hero then, leading a warband, so Gimli or something like that. But yeah, you can basically just go max warbands, really trying to capitalize on the high fight. Obviously, he's got a lot of D6 fearless with the Royal Guard. He has got a lot of D5 on the front line in the Warriors of Rohan, that in Good v Evil, obviously with Witch King Sully at the moment, you could be playing a lot of terror potentially. Obviously, yes, you've got the Royal Guard, but you could potentially have a lot of Courage 2 Rohan that might not be doing anything, which could potentially be an issue. Obviously, you've got the Royal Guard, but let's say they start dying, you're left with a lot of Courage 2. With Harbinger, which is
that's true. There's not that many Royal Guard, is there? There's only 11.
There's 11, which is a lot. Like if you think of a Witch King, Sully, Black Num line, you might have 14, 15, 16-ish nums at 800, depending on how you build it. So 11 of them is pretty good, but if they start dying, then you're left with a lot of D5 low courage, which could be an issue. Obviously, you've got the elves who can maybe tie off things if you need to, but yeah, if those Warriors of Rohan aren't really doing anything, that could be an issue. But I do like it. Does it kill enough? Maybe not.
That was a point I was going to bring up, Elliot. Shout out to Bert Leach, who ran this list quite a lot last year. I played him it's actually this year in Preston, Blimey, time flies.
I also played him in Preston in Heirlooms, and he picked it up like turn 1, and we shook hands.
Blimey. So in Preston, Bert one turn killed Saladin outright with shooting. And I was like, oh, I've lost. And then I got into combat with his list and I just killed all his stuff because he's wounding he's wounding defense 6 on 6s. And if you look at the heroes, Theoden, Gambling, Legolas, not very combat-y, killy heroes.
You can't even
especially on
have
foot.
Theoden really, if you're playing against Magic, you can't really use him.
So you can't have Theoden in combat.
Yeah.
Gambling's only fight 4.
And if
Legolas,
he dies, that's a huge issue for the list.
You've
got to be really careful with Gambling.
Sam's going to jump down my throat on this, but you've only got a 3-inch banner with Gambling as well. So, so you've got a lot of fight 5.
Yeah.
But you haven't got 3 dice across your entire battle line. Again, this is kind of like AOL. It does heavily rely on the shooting and the throwing spears because otherwise you're just fishing for 6s.
Yeah.
Go on, Sam.
If he's thinking of, sorry, Sam, go on.
No, you can cook, Elliot.
I was just going to say that if he might be thinking at 800, some of the evil lists, which some of them I have seen, could be taking lower model counts. And if he's got 48 models with a good list, high 5 value, if he does get not even a really good turn of shooting or 2 with the throwing spears or whatever, if he gets them down to, say, if it's a 40-ish model evil list, if he gets them down to like 35-ish, he's then outnumbering by a lot. And then weight of numbers is, I guess, what he might be hoping to win in the game, which isn't that reasonable of a thing to think of.
The real struggle is that it doesn't have any way to nullify the enemy heroes. Take them off their horse. So what? If you've got a Shagrat on foot or a Ratabi on foot or...
it's an issue.
They just go in and just start chewing through your troops and you've got no way to deal with them apart from just hoping that they whiff, which isn't necessarily a great strategy.
Defenders is a very static list, and as we'll come on to see his evil list, they do contrast each other a lot.
I will say there are 29 throwing spears in this.
Yeah, with 7 bows. So like if he has a good time,
Yeah, I can almost guarantee that I would lose if I played this list simply because of all the strength 3, like shooting.
Your big scary man would die in one turn.
He's dead instantly, and then I've got no orcs left either, and I've just lost the game instantly.
Just from how Ash was saying about an experience that you had playing against defenders, or no, he had playing against defenders. Haven't you had a similar sort of experience playing against Bert and his defenders list, James?
Talk about the kid.
Every single time I play Bert, this man is the king of 6s, and I'm the king of 1s. But yeah, we had the first event of the year. We're playing for a podium at this 90. But instantly cause a heroic accuracy at Kirdan. I've cast Blinding Light. Out of 7 shots, he hits 5, goes through 3 in the ways, and does 4 wounds and instantly kills Kirdan in assassination and just wins the game.
Yeah.
It's like,
what dice were you using,
go, Bert.
Lovely moves from Bert Lee.
The Rivendell dice.
Oh, wait, Bert was using Rivendell dice.
Yeah.
See, that's because he is playing with elves and he's used the correct dice and they blessed him.
But he was using Lothlorien
elves,
not using the correct dice.
But they're the closest Games Workshop equivalents.
The viewers are itching for a GW dice tier list. I can already tell.
I've had it in my notes for months, and we're fucking doing it. What are the worst Games Workshop dice?
Army of the Dead.
They're just some that aren't used that much, like Dale.
No, I quite like the Dale dice.
The Angmar ones, I think, are pretty dog, although, Sam, I know you had a terrible event against them.
No, the Dol Guldur ones.
Dol Guldur ones are correct.
You have to use Sauron if you're using the Dol Guldur dice, that's why.
Or Pits of Dol Guldur, as I do.
All GW dice are correct, basically.
They are.
They're all loaded. So, any final thoughts on the champ?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, we've gone from Ivan's list being scouts, extremely mobile, to although I mean you can
essentially just spam
march everywhere, but you'll probably be moving 4.5 inches at that point with your bows.
You still get 29 throwing spears if you move full.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's also
enough though.
It's also things like recon, like late game. If he protects gambling, which he will, he can then like swing troops round, with the 9-inch marchers or get them out of dodge. Make a late push to get things off
If
the
you
board.
move with the throwing spears against D6, you really don't kill much.
Yeah.
Like
No.
29 throwing spears,
No.
you hit.
Oh yeah, but it's still a nice
Maybe.
option just to have, even as your secondary if you are pushing forward.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but I just mean like against
If one, maybe two.
Yeah, you don't actually completely murk your enemy. You don't like wipe out his front line. You kill like a model or two models if you're.
That's what I was saying. Like if he has an average or maybe above average turn with the bows, but then not the throwing spears, he's just hoping that he'll get to combat having whittled the numbers somewhat, where he has enough of an advantage that 48 models is just way too many for his opponent to deal with.
It comes down to like recon. You'll have a certain contingent that is probably going to be going up the board, and the rest are going to be marching, moving half weather, potentially. And then like supplies, it's obviously no cav. So again, are you playing static to get the major win? You need to get 2 more than your opponent. Will can definitely do it with this list because he's a good player. But it becomes more challenging. But I would be scared to play this. I don't want to play this at all.
No, it's a good list. Yeah.
It's a good choice in the Good v Evil format as well, because if you play Blinding Light with this, you're having a bad time. Like if you play Lothlorien or Rivendell against this, they're having. Sorry.
Unless your name's Bert.
Unless your name's Bert and you instantly kill the Blinding Light person. But the fact that obviously Evil's only got the Shadow Lord and he's not seen too often, this shooting, Will knows every game he's going to get to shoot and do massive damage to his opponent. Whereas if he was potentially had the chance to play a good list with Blinding Light, this isn't going to do anything. And then it dies in combat. So
if I have to play this, I hope it's in Capture and Control.
Yeah,
and I just hope I play his other list.
And with that fantastic take from Sam Grattan, we will move on.
That's the first time you've ever said that.
First and last, we will move on to his evil list, which is a 42 model list. Now, I'm not entirely sure who the leader is in this. Does it have to be the Goblin King? He's Valor.
Yes,
he's Legend.
Is he Valor? Oh, he's Legend. Okay. So it is led by the Goblin King, who is taking Gollum in his warband along with 3 Goblin Warriors. And from Goblin Town as well, he has a Goblin Mercenary Captain leading 3 Goblin Mercs. Then from Doggle Door, he's taking the Slayer of Men leading 14 Hunter Orcs and 1 Hunter Orc with a horn. Then he has a Hunter Orc Captain leading 11 Hunter Orcs and 1 with a banner. And then from the Dark Denizens, he has the Spider Queen leading 2 Fel Wargs and a Bat Swarm. So, as I was saying, very different to the last list. A lot of tech, as Will likes to use. He's basically got all of it in from the Hobbit book. It's pretty nuts, really. Lower model count than his good list.
So I played this at unnumbered tiers, and I would go to say that it was probably my worst performance of an MESBG game this year.
Oh, it was that game, yeah.
It was. I honestly played. I had the fattest advantage I've ever had. Like just scenario army matchup. It was unbelievable stuff, Jeff, and I literally just took it and plunged it down the toilet so hard.
Sam yeeted it.
I went no, and like I was unbelievable.
What did he have at 1,000 that he doesn't have here? Out of interest.
It was. That's a great question. It was
Magic.
It was another Slayer.
Double
I think it was another Slayer and maybe another Captain and just more models. He had the Spider Queen, had King, had Merc, had a Slayer.
Remind the viewers and also me what the Slayer of Men does.
It's a 2-attack burly guy.
Oh, it's that one. Okay, I thought it might have been the teleportation freak.
No, if you kill him,
lingering shadow.
If you kill him on a 3+, he returns within 6 inches of where he died. So realistically, you don't want to kill him. You want to just leave him as best as possible and just try shield against him all the time. The the scenarios, Spider Queen is very, 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 very good, and like probably the best model in this in the game for these scenarios to a certain extent. It has what it's only one, the one bat and Gollum, so 2 ways of halving fight value. The problem is the shooting. Good versus evil. I mean, if Will came up against his good list,
he would have a
would be-
horrible time.
he'd probably be broken before he got to combat, I would imagine.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's easy.
The thing is though, if it does get into combat, it shreds so fast. It's unbelievable. I think he probably killed maybe 12, 13 of my guys in one turn. It was nuts because it was just in one turn. And after that one turn, when the lines are disjointed and one tiny pocket, one infantry gap is made, and then Hunter Orcs just come feeding through like it's unbelievable. And then your Spear Sports again 2 dice against their 1, and it spirals out of control way too fast. So yeah, this needs to be shot a lot, otherwise it's definitely probably going to mince anything in combat to a certain extent.
Some good analysis from you there, mate.
Have we talked about how we think we'll do in the scenarios?
We said about the Spider Queen having incredible uses in the scenarios.
Yeah, and he's got Goblin Mercs as well.
And he's got Goblin Mercs. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Do any of these Hunter Orcs have bows?
No.
He's got no bows.
He's gone at
So-
0.
That is the only sort of eke. It's got
The
42
bows,
models.
yeah,
It's
but
a lot of D4.
I mean, you take max bows if it's Azog's Hunters, but in Dol Guldur they're 5 up Orc bows.
Yeah, it's not great.
They're just trash. Yeah.
The thing is, I think his good list is just so solid, and this has got all the tools you want, but it's like apart from magic. But if he doesn't get the right scenario matchup, he might struggle. Because this is the sort of army he'll 12-0 people with.
Yeah.
But it's also the sort of army where it doesn't have the best chance in absolutely every game. Because, like you said, if you come up against this good army, what's this army doing in Lords of Battle against like shooting?
Yeah.
No.
Or recon. Even recon against shooting, because Spider Queen is amazing at recon. We know that. Felwargs, etc., Batswarm, Mercs, they're all really good in recon. But if someone just lines up archers at the back, those goblins aren't getting through.
As someone who recently played a Hunter Orc heavy army against a very heavy shooting army into the death, he will not want that.
Fun
Great
list, though.
analysis.
Really fun list.
I think this list is better in not good versus evil, because when you come against the Goblin King, more elves, elven blades against blubbering mass for your leader, potentially your Orcrists, whether you give it to Thorin, whether you give it to Legolas, whoever, potentially Gandalf with Glamdring, just elves in general.
Sentinels to get the bat and stuff around.
Yeah, Sentinels.
And to get the Spider Queen.
Yeah. Magic against the Spider Queen.
The only thing that good versus evil gives this list is not getting the Spider Queen her will sapped. But you still play Sentinels, you still play Command. I just don't think, I think the amount of scenarios that favour shooting quite significantly hurt this list.
Will hopes he plays capture and control with this list. He hopes he plays recon probably, and then just either spawns mercs off the board or shoots the broodlings off and defends.
I think he also, if he could play
probably supplies or heirlooms.
Supplies are heirlooms, yeah.
I don't think he minds clash either, because you only take 1 round of shooting.
Yeah, true.
And also, this is a very good hero killing list. It really doesn't want to play Lords against shooting. really,
die
really
one
does.
turn every turn. If they because the
It's got a
Goblin
lot
King-
of heroes that are easy to kill for the other person as well, though. I'd say.
Even like destroy
Yeah.
supplies, if you play something with shooting, it would probably just sit there and kill so many Hunter Orcs. Like, yes, the Spider Queen can obviously threaten the objectives and things, but so many of those Hunter Orcs are going to die.
The thing is, with a 800-point list, you can defend 2 objectives. If the Spider Queen gets one of your objectives, that's 2 VPs, but you just break them because all your shooting will break this list, and then it's 2-2, and then it's like, can you do a wound to the Goblin King, or can you even get one of his objectives, which you probably can because he can't sit anything back because you can just shoot it to death. So yeah. We'll see how Will does.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll find he doesn't play any shooting, but yeah,
Cool.
Interesting.
Okay, so moving on, we are going to get into our lists. So first of all, we have James's Last Alliance list. James, would you like to run through it for the audio list?
I'd like you to do it for me, Elliot, please.
Okay, that's right. I'll help you out. I'm a good teammate. So he is taking Last Alliance with Elendil as his leader, who is on horse with shield, leading 13 Warriors of Numenor with spear shield, 3 with bow and spear, and 1 with banner spear shield. Then he has Erestor leading 4 Half Warriors with shield, 5 with spear and shield, 2 with bow and spear, and 1 Rivendell Knight. And then he has Círdan leading another 3 with spear and shield, and 3 Rivendell Knights with shield for 38 models. Now, I was under the impression, because we talked in the chat a while ago, this is maybe a week or 2 ago, about whether you were going to take this. And then I thought you had switched back to the Isildur one. So I was like, oh, okay, I think he's taking that. And then you sent me this. I was like, oh, you've gone to Elendil.
It's just good versus evil. Elendil is so much better than Isildur.
But I thought that you thought that Isildur was going to be really good because of the wraiths.
No, that makes him much.
Or does that make him worse?
That's why he's worse.
I'm thinking about it the wrong way around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I would have taken Isildur, but just the wraiths commanding. A lot of people don't know this, so I probably shouldn't say it. But yeah, you can compel someone to put the ring on, and it's just not cool.
Not cool. I mean, I think
It
you
ruins
prefer
your day with
Isildur,
Isildur.
so I think you probably
I
would.
definitely prefer Isildur as a model. He's more fun, and he costs less points.
Yeah, but for this event,
This
Elendil.
event, Elendil is definitely better, but as you can see, it limits the total might in the list a lot. Down to 6.
Yeah.
You get free combat. I don't think might's a huge issue for the list. Having Círdan, you don't really mind if people charge you, especially in good versus evil. People are going to be struggling to get into combat with you.
There's very few fearless evil lists.
Exactly.
I just guess
one of
if
the strongest battle lines in the game, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just very strong.
Yeah. I guess it is just if you do play against a wraith or wraiths, whatever, like Ash was saying, and Círdan just gets bullied, then if you start not having Aura of Dismay at times, then the 6 might could then be an issue because you're needing to call moves.
But he is still packing a lot of models, though. 38 is a lot of models for having a fight 5 battle line with Elendil and Erestor.
As well as having the 4 Rivendell Knights, actually gives you quite a lot of variety. And
4 of them is really, really good. I was like, when I saw you had 4, I was like, why has he done that? But yeah, you're basically max warbands. Like, if you could take, I just really wish that Rivendell had so say Erestor, Erestor is really good, but
there was a nice Haldir model that could give you Valor for cheap. They would be perfect.
Or just like a hero in the, so Erestor's what, 80 points, 85?
85, yeah.
85. So just an elf hero in the 110 point range that is 3 might on a horse, just something else where, because obviously you've spent a lot of points on the 4 Riv Knights, which is really good, but there's a world where you take away 2 of those knights to invest those points to get a slightly better hero, and that's just not an option, which is a shame.
Sadly, that is unavailable.
Yeah, so I just the 4 Riv Knights are good. It's just you've put a lot of points into them, which sort of looks like out of necessity maybe because the warbands are full. So it's what are you going to spend the points on?
Yeah, it was like have 39 models, but as we all know, having an even number is nicer. And in the objectives, the scenarios that we have, high movement models are very, very good. So having an extra cav is just handy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The Rivendell Knights are the best cav in the game. You got 4 of them, and they're going to be useful in most of the scenarios. 6 might is the massive drawback of this list. It's 3 heroic combats kind of negate that a little bit, depending on how many turns you get. 9 bows with blinding light, very nice. You're out shooting most evil lists. Could you explain your choice of Eristor over, per se,
A
a
captain.
Numenorian captain on horse
Well,
with
it
a
would never
lance?
be a Numenorian captain because that would make the list impossible.
Why?
Because of Círdan.
Because of Círdan.
Oh yeah, Sam, we
Stinky
totally
poo
didn't think of that.
No, I was thinking basically.
That was me and Sam spoke about this, and Sam was like, "Why doesn't he take a Numenorian captain?" We've
No,
been
or
proven well and truly wrong.
You could take a half captain. I guess my thinking is obviously a lot of the scenarios are fairly movement, heavy. And what does that well is a captain. But then you can then have the flip side, which James is probably going to say is I've got 4 Rivendell Knights. And then I go, fair enough. But what about March if you really need it in a scenario where potentially they may get more than just say your 4 knights off the board? Then it's like, oh, the captain becomes another thing. But then you're going to say, but what if they don't and I defend and it becomes a toss-up? So I understand why you've got Eristor. Maybe just because, what is it? Maybe 4 of the scenarios
It's
are quite.
also knowing that I'm playing against evil lists, which are majoritively magic dominated. Having Eristor is much stronger than having a captain.
What, just with the 1 extra will?
So you have an extra point of will and an extra point of fate, as well as
Yeah.
natural terror.
He totally is still a compellable dead. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Another thing, James, you've pointed out to me multiple times, is that Eristor, with his rerolling to wound on throwing daggers, gives you the opportunity to kill a model in front of Eristor, charge a Witch King, for example, tag a Saruman. He just gives you a tool which is quite reliable to actually, manipulate the battle line.
That tool, when you have Elendil, it opens up even larger gap for him to be able to run through into spaces and splat big things like Witch Kings. And it's a better combination, I'd say.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed using Elendil at numbered tiers, and I think I might finally get my Numenorians painted up. So Sam, you won't have to play all these metal Numenorians anymore. I've like 12 of them on my battle line, and they're all just like, little nubs, metal nubs. I might finally get them painted and start using this essentially next year. I really like the Eristor model. I have that painted. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might take Hurin and convert him to Elendil because I like that model. And I've seen it online. Looks pretty lit.
I mean, talk about Valor 3-1-1 heroes on horse with a value. You were literally when you were describing it, I was just thinking, oh, it's like Hurin.
Yeah.
Or Theodred. Theodred's essentially Hurin, just like much better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a shame. Like, I just wish there was something else to sort of fill in that gap. You either have like under 80 point or like 80 point range heroes or 170 plus. And it's just a bit. Obviously, you can take a captain kitted out. That does fit into that bracket, but obviously the captain plays very
still only the 12 warband space, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
The thing is, every elf list has to have a weakness, though, and I think that is Rivendell's weakness, isn't it? A lack of variety.
It's probably why there's not many elf legendary legions, because elves are already really good, and if you start giving them too many buffs, then they become mega OP.
And more buffs, GW.
James out here praying.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So it's James's last lines list. We've seen it many times. It looks really good. He knows what he's doing. So hopefully he'll do well and bring back some points for the squad. Moving on, we have James's evil list. Would you like to run through this one, James?
Isn't going to go so well. No, actually, I enjoyed the way you did it, Elliot.
Really? Okay. I can continue that trend. So James has taken an Angmar list at 800 points, who I was very surprised when I saw that it was the Witch King.
I love it.
Bell Beast. So he is taking the Witch King Bell Beast with the Crown of Morgul, who is 316-3, who is leading 7 Orcs with Shield, 6 with Spear and Shield, 1 with Banner, Shield and Spear, and 2 Demarsh Spectres. Then he has a Gullivar leading 2 Wild Riders with Throwing Spear Shield, and 2 Wild 2-1 Wargs. Then he has an Orc Captain on Warg with Shield, leading 6 with Shield and 6 with Spear Shield. And then a Barrow White leading 2 Orcs with Shield and 2 with Spear Shield for 40 models with a Fell Beast and Gullivar. James, what was the thinking?
Take it away, James.
This is the moment.
Well, to be honest, I actually wanted to run double Barrow White, but I was persuaded by my fellow Gollum's gamers, otherwise known as the Ginger Boys, that it was not a good idea.
My brother, you need March. You can't just walk across the board slowly and get shot to fuck.
What do you mean? This army's great at taking shooting. Just really hope I don't play Will Champion with this list because I will cry.
You would cry.
But yeah, I honestly just wanted to take it because I don't own an evil list. This was given to me.
I don't own an evil list. Let's not gloss over that.
It looks very fun. The idea of
I
having
realise, James, that
Witch King and Gullivar.
I got on my phone. I'm thinking, is this the list that I sent? Like, is this the identical list I sent James?
No, it's not.
And I thought, I'm looking at it, like comparing them now, and there was a lot subtle changes in here.
I'd say I improved it.
Yeah.
Whoa!
What are the changes?
This took me 2 minutes, mate. Right, and it's basically
mine. I just used the calculator.
It's basically that. But no, I mean, I am not an avid Fell Beast user when it comes to Angmar. I disprove. However, if you want to use a Fell Beast, I mean, fair enough. If that's the point.
That is the whole point. To be honest.
James, do you own a Wraith on Fell Beast?
I don't own any evil models, mate.
So I was about to say this, James. You best remind me when you come over to give you my Fell Beast on, and give you my Witch King on Fell Beast, because otherwise you'll rocking up to the event with negative.
You guys better not leave anything. That would be quite funny. Don't do a Jack Walger.
Infamous troll.
You're going further than Lincoln this time.
We are going further than Lincoln.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you come round Thursday, come and collect the mighty Witch King on
Ash,
Fell Beast.
although I heard you're not even going to be at your house.
I'm not, no, but don't tell everyone because all the viewers will turn up.
I will. I'll hold the fort down.
It's going to be empty. Sam's got it. Yeah. Now, I was thinking, James.
Address will be in the description.
Yeah. GPS coordinates.
Please don't dox me.
For
The location
Dawson,
of the
please.
spare key will be listed. I was thinking, James, as you are an avid Wood Elf Sentinel user, and I believe it was your number ranked model. I thought you may have had more Spectres, but I'm just assuming with the Fell Beast, you don't have the
You
points.
just don't get enough models, yeah. I mean, I wanted to have a Morgul Blade as well, but again, there just
Morgul
wasn't
Blade.
wasn't the availability in the points.
My man just...
I've just been dipped down on the podcast.
Sam, you're literally Frodo right now. Just...
You better leave the call, Sam.
Oh.
No brewing.
I think
is
two
saying
Spectres is still quite good, though, to be fair.
Orc spam. Orc spam is the way.
Two Spectres is more than enough.
4 movable models with wargs. Yeah. Don't know.
It's essentially the list that I sent James, and then he tweaked it, improved it. So I rate it. Simple as that.
It's a good Angmar list. Yeah. Have you used Angmar before, though, James?
Ooh.
I want to be giving James tips on the way up. It'll be fine.
You do have.
You've got 6 hours of tips, and we're going to try.
I've often done better with lists I've never used before, so let's find out.
Yeah, let's not forget your most used list, Mirkwood Rangers, and you went 0-4 at the previous event.
One of those was to myself.
That was a bad time, yeah. I'd even lost to Elliot then.
That's
when you know that's when you know it's horrendous.
With our
he's
total of
losing to me.
3 models left on the board.
You lost to Elliot in.
But you had 1 model left. You literally just had Leggy.
Yeah, I had 1 and you had 2, right?
Or like 3 or something. Yeah, hiding.
Yeah.
It was enough.
James, what we can do is get you a practice gaming at the venue Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
That's the plan. So any people
Let me
coming
play
to
Will, see how
Stirling,
that goes.
come and meet us at the venue if we bother to turn up.
Dom's game is on tour.
Yeah.
Love
If
it.
you want the opportunity to play me, I've been told I'm the best opponent everyone's ever played, so...
I'm the best opponent who has
get
ever,
yourselves on the
ever
list.
been played.
Not on the list that Sam's on, though.
No.
No one wants to be on that list.
You don't want to be on that. Sam out here bugging.
Oh, that was brilliant.
No, I'm totally.
Ash is cooking.
Sam just got
Did
paralysed.
your Witch King have 16 will games?
Yeah, mate.
James, your Angmar list is already doing bits on Sam.
How is this not over points?
Oh,
I
here we
worked it
go.
out earlier, and it
Because
is.
The
it's not. It's
controversy
been
begins.
checked.
I put it on Lonely Night. It was 800.
Yep. Looks like Sam can't
Really?
do maths.
Yep.
Probably why he looks young.
It's only 40 models.
That's because you're doing it on your phone and not using the computer to do it for you.
No, it's because I've actually.
Lonely
got-
Night is bad.
The computer
sorry,
is
Elliot.
Yeah,
not
I
wrong.
originally had the Witch King written down as 210, but that was with 17 will. So I actually wrote it wrong
Ash,
when
you
I
cannot
submitted it,
you cannot say that Lonely Night is objectively.
How much is your Witch
This
King?
is objectively
so
worse.
many high-level competitive
that's why.
players. It is a very good tool to list build with.
This is a terrible
This
tool
is
to list
complete
with.
cap
You
from you. and
always
Sam.
get it wrong.
As
makes
And make
sense,
it on
doesn't
your
it?
phone.
Yeah, I had
Lies.
Witch King.
It's
I don't use
lies,
it
it's
for
lies,
weeks,
it's
so
lies.
I had it written down wrong.
So many good players use it. Anyway, moving on from James' Angmar list, we will
Best
get
of luck to
to
James.
Sam
Thanks,
Grafton's.
guys.
Yes, best of luck, James. To
Wish
Sam's
me best
good
luck in the
list.
comments, guys.
Let us know.
Johnny Test is going to give you a comment. Best of luck.
Leave a like while you're down there, please. Thank you.
Johnny
you did very
Greg,
well.
please wish me good luck.
Sam, would you like to take us through your list?
Sure, mate. So I have got my what have I got? I've got a Erebor Acclaimed, a Halls of Thranduil, and a Survivors of Lake Town concoction of what's called? It's called the Battle of Five Armies. That's it. So my leader is Thorin. He is on goat with Orcrist. I have 4 dwarfs with just shield. That's it. And then I've got from the Halls of Thranduil, Legolas on horse, 8 Mirkwood Elf with shield, 1 with banner shield, 2 Mirkwood Cav with shield, and there they are. And then
You're wondering how he has only got Iron Hills with shields. That's because he relies upon my epic conversions.
oh yeah, and then so 2 Mirkwood Cav with shield, and then a Sentinel, and then
Russian King under the mountain.
Survivors of Lake Town. I've got Gandalf the Grey on horse, 3 Lake Town with shield spear, 6 with bow spear, Lake Town captain with, and then Lake Town 3 Lake Town militia with shield, 5 with shield spear, 1 with just spear. So it's 38 models in total. I'm going to say it now. If I had more Iron Hills with shield instead of 8 elves, I would be taking probably 12 Iron Hills with shield. However, I don't want to cut up any more of my not my models. So
Chat Walker.
yeah, it's got to go the elf route, which is okay. It gives me more elven blades and stuff. So yeah, I mean, fight 6 free combat hit leader, elven blade, fight 5 blinding light, compel. It's got its march. It's got a sentinel for evil models, and it's also got Legolas for shooting spider queens, shooting whatever, all the good Legolas targets. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Gandalf. He can totally be the shittest model in the game. But he can also win you the game because it's magic. So I thought I'd go for it. If any eagle-eyed viewers follow the league well enough, they will see that it's very, very, very similar to Mr. David Farmer's list that he took to a Scottish event. He did have a few changes. He had more Iron Hills dwarfs and no Mirkwood Elf shield. And he also had 2 more models, which by decapitating loads of Lake Town militia, so they had no war gear. And I also was not willing to do that. So I've gone down to 38 models with just more war gear. And I think 38 is still okay. It's still doable when it comes to it. So, yeah. Thoughts?
The classic Sam Grattan army, to be honest.
Yeah.
Very in theme with what you've been using lately. Was the thinking, in case I missed it, behind keeping Gandalf, or did you run through that?
Because
you were sort of on the edge, on the fence, as it were.
so stuff like Clash, Compel is always great. Blinding Light is always great for Lords. Heirlooms, if they pick the heirloom up with a flying model and then fly up onto a ledge that is unobtainably high, you have a way of removing that model from that unobtainably high ledge.
You're talking from previous experiences there, Sam.
I am indeed. Yeah, definitely.
Just thought I'd double check that.
Yeah. I was playing against Isengard. Cobain picked up first turn and flew up to, I'd give it maybe, imagine like a 30 centimeter ruler plus maybe another 10 centimeters. So about 40 centimeters high building on the very top. And that was it because I didn't have Gandalf. So I was really upset. However, the game is the game.
How did you
Why did you just explain 40 centimeters? 30 plus 10.
Because I was thinking,
that's a really good
Explain
point,
measurements.
I think, how big was it? And I basically imagined a 30 centimeter ruler, then added 10.
It surely did that over 2 turns then.
Yeah,
it was like a really cursed Doggle piece of looking thing, and there was like, it went really high, and it kind of had the pinnacle up here, and there was a halfway ledge here. So it went,
okay.
lol, and I went, I was like, yeah, and I had to walk across
I
the board.
did see that piece of terrain, and it was really cursed.
Yeah.
It's good though. We like terrain.
We do like terrain, so I've gone Gandalf for that reason as well.
Magic is just OP, so you have to take it.
In Recon, he's good anti-cav as well if you need him with the Sorcerer's Blast. Although it never casts because it's Gandalf.
Gandalf.
He should have a reroll, man. Come on. He's a great wizard.
Are you scared that your Gandalf may perform as my Galadriel did last night?
I will guarantee my Gandalf will perform as if your Galadriel did last night, mate. Don't you worry.
That's not going to be a very good time for you, is it?
Hell no. But I'm hoping my Thorin does bits. But we shall see.
That's a great conversation out of context right there.
Yeah. My Thorin does.
Any thoughts from Adam, Ash, James?
Gandalf is the linchpin of this list because Sorcerer's Blast on a 5 without a reroll, even just Gandalf can be fantastic, but can also be terrible. Best of luck, Sam. May God help you with those 6s.
I've got to hope that Gandalf rolls well, and I think I'll be fine.
Gollum.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I think it's a really, strong list. Again, it's got the Lake Town tax of if you get through the front rank, you're very, 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 exposed and supple. But
don't ever say that word ever again, please.
Supple.
What do you think, Adam?
Oh, I just don't know what to say about Gandalf. I just think of Saruman, and he's one better to cast everything, and he rerolls. It's just so much better. But only 10 points more.
Funny you say that, Adam.
Funny I say that because
Why do you say that?
That is a lovely segue.
Can we
in the
talk
comments
about
if Gandalf is good? Whether you rate him out of 10.
Is
Justice for
Gandalf on the
Gandalf.
Martin tier? I'm not sure.
Some people say that he's like silly, nervous, bordering lemon, but then I just think he's dog. So let's see.
Gandalf, yeah, he's nervous.
Nervous for Gandalf, really?
He just whiffs all the time, or at least with me. I don't know. I've never had a game where I thought Gandalf has been unbelievable. He's won me the game.
in the cursed club when you had to cast a Sorcerer's Blast and James was there watching, and you rolled you rolled 4 dice to blast my Witch King to try and win the game. You rolled like a 2 high and couldn't might it.
It wasn't even like you could resist it. You trapped Bard, and then I thought you trapped him with loads of guys. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna blast that Morannon on Numb. I wanted to go off. Someone rolled 4 dice and then rolled a 2. So I had 2 might, and I couldn't even might it.
and
Oh,
then Bard died.
Oh.
Lol.
who would have thought? I still won that game though. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's true. You did, but that was a while ago.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So a lovely bit of foreshadowing there from Adam, because we are going to move on to Sam's evil list, which does feature Saruman.
Yes, my concoction of.
Oh,
Take us through it, good sir.
oh man.
So my leader is Saruman on his horse. He has 4 Uruk-hai warriors with shield, 6 Uruk-hai warriors with pike. He's got 2 Orc warriors with shield and 2 Orc warriors with spear. Literally just chaff because I needed to make 40 models. He's also got a Crabane, which is the worst model in the whole entire game to build. Comment below if you agree, because I've just took like 2 hours of doing it.
Hey, Forge World is great, Sam.
Pardon?
About.
Would you say sorry?
That's great. What are you on about?
Have you ever had the joy of building a Crabane?
Yeah.
I can't say so, but I've built loads of lovely Forge World
You
models.
want to green me yourself.
Yeah, no.
I tried to build the Dragon Emperor, and it took me a whole day, and I almost threw it out the window.
That was a horrendous Forge World.
I basically did throw it out the window.
I do agree.
Yeah. So Saruman, Uruk-hai, 4 Orcs and a Crabane, and then I've got the Witch King. He is 3-13-3. So he's got 10 Black Numenorians and 8 Morannons with shield and spear. And then I've got my other piece of the puzzle, Suladan, with 2 Harad warriors with bow, 1 Serpent Rider, and 1 Raider with just war spear. So 2 cav and 2 just foot dudes. And it's 40 models in total. Essentially has the classic. It's basically Witch King Saladin, but just with some spice. It is either
the 3 best evil hero models in the game.
Yeah,
Just put
it
them
can either
together
be
once.
it could cook. However, this could blow the house down and be unbelievably. It could be too hot. You never know. So basically, 2 OP casters that can do a lot if you.
The 2 best magic casters in the game.
Yeah.
Now, has your Witch King resurrected himself after falling last night?
He's all right. He's taken a deep breath.
You'll make it Stirling. Okay.
There was some massive blue on blue last night with Sam and Elliot.
Yeah, for the viewers, I played Elliot as a practice game, and my Witch King was in dire straits. And
Against Elendil.
Against Elendil, in fact,
charged.
I decided to Sorcerer's Blast a guy. Oh, Adam, hello. I decided to Sorcerer's Blast a guy.
And Adam has ripped the top out.
Let's go.
Let me just let that breathe,
difficult.
Adam.
Oh, it's getting warm. It's getting
We have
spicy. with all
certainly
these
found
castings.
the thumbnell.
Yeah, Gollum is getting hot under there. You got to
Just
let
a
him be.
sexy picture of Adam.
I'm
Yeah, don't
more
worry.
OnlyFans
I got
in
you,
the
Ash.
description.
Anyway, Sam, carry on.
But yeah, I basically Sorcerer's Blasted an elf into this combat to save my Witch King and they're both prone because he's not my leader. I totally don't care about him as much as Saruman. The strength 3 of the knock, it was just getting into combat, knocking him in. I rolled a 6x4 to wound my Witch King.
You rolled a 6x6 using Danny DeVito.
Oh yes, yeah. I double
DeVito.
and then
Can
I
we
just,
actually know? Hold on, Sam. We need
Oh.
to shout out the guy from Norwich who gave us those Danny DeVito dice.
that is true.
What is his name? We need to find out his name right now. He took ruffians.
He used ruffians,
He
and
took
he was
ruffians in Norwich.
You went to a GBHL 80
this-
in Norwich.
It'll still be in your Longshanks.
I'm going to find it.
I'm
This
not sure the
guy
event's on there
has
anymore, though.
caused so much
They only
pain
go
and
back so
suffering
far.
to other
Genuinely,
MESBG gamers.
he had like 90 ruffians, and I had about 60 Corsairs and stormed the camp. And there was about 150 models on the board, and I sat there and probably killed about 30 before combat. And it
He
was
also had
hilarious.
100 Danny DeVito dice
Yeah,
for no apparent reason.
Oh, he had that many Dannies. I didn't
there
know.
was
he
so
had-
many.
Oh, so there's totally more of them.
All his
out there.
dice were Danny's, so he was
They are all out
saw
there.
so many faces everywhere. It was great.
I'm gonna crack 30 whips. Okay, 30 Dannies. I think that's the classic Ash Walger.
So carry on with this story.
But yeah, I basically rolled a 6x6, and then I had one might left and rolled a 1-2-1 on my fate and totally killed my Witch King, which was hilarious. Elliot was having a great time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Um,
So as long as
I
he's
did-
okay for Stirling.
Yeah, I did win the game for the viewers.
You totally did.
I wasn't too sad.
You'd already won the game long before that happened. So.
Yeah, so it's fine. Basically, yeah, it's two really good magic casters. It's got a 6-inch banner. It's got a march in Sutherland. It's got the classic Terra front line with strength 4 behind, either through Morannons or Pikes. It's got, I guess, more fight 4 due to the Urukai. The pikemen are obviously D5, which is, and the 4 orcs, which is worse. However, is what it is.
Yeah.
You get the Palantir, which is unbelievable. Source Blast. I mean, Saruman just never fails to cast. Realistically, he's so good. Two of the Saruman and Suladan both have their 12-inch Standfast. Saruman affects heroes as well, so I probably don't even have to cast it with the other two. And yeah, I mean, for the scenarios like destroy supplies, I've got Gravane, the 2 cav. I've got the magic. For recon, again, Gravane, 2 cav, magic. Like Saruman with 18-inch transfix is just ridiculous. Transfixing whatever they have, which is defending, like, for example, you had Legolas, Elliot. It's just the range is just unbelievable. And then having like the Witch King plays more of a combat role in this list than you would usually see from a Witch King, because when you see a Witch King, he's your leader usually, and you don't have Saruman, so his casting is more valuable. With this, less so. So he can cast if I don't need him in combat, and if I don't need to cast and he needs to go in combat, he can do that as well. What else? Also, I took this last minute because I wanted to use those 2 heroes because they looked incredibly fun. And
it's a very you list.
Yeah, from my game yesterday, it was great fun. Just bullying with Saruman. I forgot how enjoyable it is. Which
did hurt.
Yeah.
Should we get on to our Palantir discussion that me and you had for a good 15 minutes?
I was so for this one.
How is the most effective way to use the Palantir?
I was actually thinking about this a moment ago to myself.
I think late game when people are out of fight.
You wait to the very end.
So my thing with Ash was basically there's a few scenarios that like you guys can probably remember games that you've played and you've gone, oh my god, if I had priority that turn, I would have just won the game.
Recon, getting models off the board.
I would have just won.
Basically occurs every time at the end of the game where you rely on winning.
Yeah. You could think, oh my god, if my X hero wasn't tagged and I had my Standfast, they could move him to the back of the board and then hold that objective and whatever. It just does happen all the time. There are scenarios where Palantir, due to just the victory conditions, can win you the game more and more often. So, for example, Recon being one of them. Say if you are behind a building and they have archers, on the edge of the board, and then you move out 10, you're within 10 of the board, and then you guarantee priority next turn, you then move off the board straight away, like getting 7 VPs, that's worth using the Palantir for. The other ones, I agree that saving it later, the longer you save it for when that moment when you need it or you would absolutely love it happens, like I would just probably wait till last turn. And there is a point where if you have no models left, what does the Palantir do for you? So you kind of have to fine tune it to that point, I guess. But I think the later the better, unless there is a game-winning opportunity.
Ashley will go.
I have indeed found the legend that gave us the
Can I guess his name?
Please.
Does it begin with F?
No.
So say the first name.
That's a fucking
Doug.
fail.
Brio.
No.
Doug.
So this is a huge shout out to Doug Waters. as his name is on.
I was
Long
going to say
Daggers.
Watters, and I don't know why.
What?
I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad I
Watters.
didn't.
So Doug Waters gave me and Sam our Danny DeVito dice that have caused carnage in the GBHL ever
have.
since. And to that man, we salute you. Thank you for
Doug
that.
Waters, if you are listening, let us know in the comments.
It's because
Absolutely.
I played another ruffian guy called Felix, and he was also a lemon guy. All the ruffian people, you got to shout them out.
Was this the guy who was I can't remember what it was about, but you watched he had watched the film. Was it a film that only you and him had seen, and he said a reference that only
No.
what am I thinking of about that? I can't even remember.
Let's not go there.
What am I thinking of?
Let's
I can't
not say that
remember.
one. I know
can't
it is.
remember.
Let's not go there, but it is nervous.
Okay,
Let's not go there.
moving on.
So,
I genuinely
the
can't
Palantir.
remember. Oh yes, of course, the Palantir.
I think the Palantir is best saved for last turn because I actually would like to see like a correlation between
Statistical display of
a
what it's
statistical
best.
display
I
of
do stats.
percentage of wins against who wins the last turn. Because I would guarantee it's like 60,
Yeah, it's gotta be
65%
pretty heavily
of the
skewed.
person who wins the last priority just wins the game. And having the Palantir for that, chef's kiss.
Interesting. Yeah, because it is obviously in a totally different category.
Oh my goodness.
That is
Adam,
totally
why?
him.
That
Why
guy
you-
is a legend.
Why are you baiting him out? That is so
That
hard.
guy
That
is a
totally him.
legend.
So I'm on the Norfolk
Oh.
Hobbits chat, and so is this guy.
Absolute legend.
I totally went for a meal with him
Doug,
actually
thank
at
you.
Norwich, and yeah,
You all
Legend.
went for a meal together. That's
We all
why.
did, Elliot.
That's
We're
how we
there.
all met each other.
yeah,
That is
and
actually how we all
yeah.
met.
To be fair, yeah, we literally
Yeah.
did, yeah.
You
And you
got
guys
chips
drank
and
way
curry
too
ends.
much down the other end of the table, actually.
Yeah, and then you
I
paid
didn't
our
have-
share.
we got a good deal.
I wasn't complaining.
I didn't have anywhere near as much food as those guys. Can I have this?
Who are those guys?
Give those chads down there.
Lads who came first and second.
Oh, yeah, me and James totally came
Game
first
third.
second at the event.
Oh,
even though Adam beat me, and that's actually so this tournament happened in March of 2022. Me and Adam haven't played since, and he has a 1-win record against me, even though I won that tournament.
I
He
have
was the-
exactly the same thing with Vince. I haven't played him since then, and he
I
was
don't
my
know.
only loss of the tournament.
yeah. I
Adam
haven't
is
played
1-0
Vince
to me.
since then either. I played Vince then, so that was really where the Gollum's Gamers this iteration initially sort of.
And is that not Adam's first tournament win that you
2022?
got recently? in
2022.
This year's version.
yeah
Over
Yeah.
almost 18 months ago, 18, 19 months ago.
How many
Not been that
tournaments
long.
have we been to since?
I thought it must have been 2021, but it really hasn't.
No, so I
do.
think we
Oh, we-
started going to tournaments in 2021.
because when we went to
Yeah,
that
I think we went
LGT,
to like 1 or 2 in
That was
2021.
September.
that was at the
yeah.
end of 2021. Yeah, so it was.
Right, guys, please abuse me about this list because all I've done is praise it, and I need some bad feedback so I don't look like a
The
knobhead.
worst thing is, I think it actually is incredibly good.
I don't think it's incredibly good. I think it's good.
If
So
we
what I
were
like
ranking
is you can do compel blast shenanigans.
if we were ranking it, where would we rank it on a tier list
I think it's a silly nervous, you
in
know.
the context of the event?
I
Let's
don't
do a
think
tier
it's
list.
easily
Come
silly
on,
nervous,
Elliot.
silly
Set up a tier
nervous.
list right now.
Easily silly nervous. It's just,
Realistically,
there's
like,
no way to what would I do? Put like a Saruman as the icon. I just thought it would have been
Yeah.
logistically hard.
Just
So,
get Will's face off of Facebook.
you get a bowl of soup and you just put that as the icon.
fair.
Honestly, basically, against like I wouldn't. I mean, I am D6, so against someone like Will's list, for example, of lots of shooting, it's
You're not entirely D6.
yeah through the
Yeah,
pikes and the
definitely
orc
not.
You
warriors.
have like 14 models in Saruman's warband plus 2 Haradrim bows. Yeah.
The pikes are definitely.
You're not going to kill the
a
companion. You're going to kill the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but you've got a good at least 15 models that are D5 and under. So
Yeah, you've got.
that's
You've
not
got
even
times to
including like the
shoot.
cav. Yeah, yeah.
So that is one downside is no Shadow Lord or whatever, but there is a fair amount of D6 in there. I'd try and maybe do 2 ranks of D6 and then D5 behind to limit that. What else?
I think this is a list that suffers to shooting. And we've seen a lot of shooting so far.
Struggles to just
True.
kill
Yeah.
stuff.
See, I thought that as well, but pinning that, Saladin and the Witch King going into combat are some of the best killing heroes.
Yeah, me and Sam actually talked about it last night as well.
I think they're just a 3-attack mounted hero. I wouldn't say they're some of the best heroes you can get.
Well, if you take, like, I made this comparison with Sam earlier. You take Boromir.
Yeah.
He has the exact same killing power as the Witch King. He has actually less killing power.
Combats more effectively, and he's 5/7.
He can win combats more effectively, but I'm talking about the pure killing power.
Well, to get to the killing, you have to have won the combat first. So I'd say
there are other factors.
There are other factors.
Yeah,
but I mean, he can strike. He's still got the 6-inch banner from Saladin. So when he's charging in, he's got 5 dice.
Yeah.
If he strikes,
you can get unlucky with the Witch King, as Sam did last night, where you just fail the fate and die, only having 1 wound. It's a bit of a drawback. Saladin's only D5.
The magic wins you it though.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night, where like he's ultimately, his army should outgrind most others if his opponent essentially doesn't really have any heroes it can use for killing power itself, which with those 2 casters is fairly likely.
Yeah.
Like realistically, a lot, like for example, a Círdan list, I can totally just bully Círdan to death to a point of he does nothing.
You just blast him a couple of times and he's dead.
Yeah. And then just the thing is, Saruman is just so obnoxious. Like first turn, just having one of your heroes just transfixed for no, like on just 3 dice and then on a 2+ at the back of the board. It's
a 1 in 36 chance you don't cast.
Yeah, it's just so infuriating.
You're always going to cast.
Yeah. And like the you play against people that have, say, Elenda was a good example when they are 4-5 spirit, but if you get lucky with maybe even say 2 move offs or whatever, and you manage to just Sorcerer's Blast them prone for those 2 turns, and they're also prone from the previous turn of when they're on their horse or whatever, like it does. Well, you can't directly really target them reliably. That is a way of doing it. Whilst the Witch King and Saladin do whatever they need to do. Like if I play against elves, when I played against Elliot, I just spent essentially all my might to either strike or win fights to kill all the elves. And then once those gone, all you have is Numenor, and and then fight for D6, Terror, the Witch King, and the heroes are then higher fighting naturally, and there's ways around it. Although
the Witch King and Saladin are very, very, very good combat heroes.
Yeah, you look at them, you look at this list, and you don't think I don't really have a line hitter, but I kind of do. It's a little more like deceitful when it comes to it.
And also yours become naturally better when they won't have to worry as much potentially about the maybe bigger combat threats that your opponent could have.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think Saruman is just so good for recon and stuff, anti-cav. Like Ivan's list, those heroes just, if he had all mounted heroes, no warriors, I'd be more scared, because he's got the few, here and there
targets,
even blasting the 1 will guys.
Yeah,
it's like that's so bad for him.
And like compelling things in and combating off and stuff.
Dwarfs, I'd be way more scared of dwarfs.
And D7, Guard of the Fountain Court. Foreshadowing.
You may not have an answer for. Yeah, no, I agree.
Dwarfs.
Yeah, if the Witch King and Saladin can't get their kills, you struggle.
Yeah. Okay, and on that note, we are going to move on from Sam's evil list to Ashley Walger's good list. Would you like to take us through it?
Ooh. So, it's very unusual for a good list for me to even take one. As you know, viewers, I've been taking Witch King Saladin fairly frequently, but we are coming at this Scottish event with a Minas Tirith and Lothlorien alliance.
Yellow.
Yellow. So I've got Boromir, Captain of the White Tower,
He does have the
with a
banner,
horse
sorry.
and shield,
Yeah.
and the banner. It's funny that Lonely Island.
The Lonely Island.
Lonely Knight doesn't show that. It's as if it's trash. Anyway, sorry. So Boromir with banner, horse, and shield. 2 Knights of Minas Tirith with the shield, and 1 Ranger of Gondor. We've then got the main battle line, which is the 12 Guard of Fountain Court with shield. I'm currently trying to paint the last 4 up. Ooh, so special. We've then got Madril, 3 Rangers of Gondor and 1 Ranger of Gondor with a spear. And then we've got the Lothlorien component with Galadriel, 6 Galadrim warriors with shield and spear, Galathrim warriors with elf bow and spear. Tom Patson's going to like that. And then 4 Guard of Galathrim Court and a Wood Elf Sentinel. So I end up with 38 models, which means I break when 20 of them have been deceased.
Can I just ask you a question? How many
Please.
bows would you say you have in this list?
What do you mean?
How many bows would you say you have in this list?
I have 11 plus Madril.
I knew you were going to say that because when you sent me your list, you said 11 plus Madril.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
because
wouldn't just
hero
put
bows
12
don't count
bows.
to the limit, so
Yeah.
I
What?
just don't- It's like you had bone count 11 plus Madril, and I thought,
no,
so the answer
I
to
do
the
that
question
as
is
well.
really 12 bows. It's just like, and now it says 12 bows over there, and then you still answered with 11 plus Madril.
Yeah, well, because when you're trying to work out bow limit,
Yeah.
But you have 12 bows anyway.
so I do have 12 bow shots, 6 of them being elf shots, 5 of them being ranger shots, and 1 of them being a hero shot. And then quite a big strength in this list is I actually have 12 might. So I have completely copied this from our man Jay, who took Boromir and Galadriel to quite a few events. And then I stuck in Madril for recon and heirlooms, and also just for marching in general. I think it hits the scenarios quite well. Heirlooms, as we said, I can +1, -1. I've also got command, where you can sort of command someone to drop the heirloom or compel someone out of the way to go in and get that. Lords of Battle, I've got Blinding Light, and I've got 12 bow shots. Come at me. Again, Clash by Moonlight, I've got Blinding Light, 12 bow shots. I mean, I've got 2 really difficult heroes to kill and Madril. So as long as I've only got 1 thing to protect in Clash by Moonlight, which is, quite nice. You then go down to recon, 2 knights and +1, -1 coming on the board, 3 points a march. It's not the most maneuverable list, but it has got the tools to get off the board.
Got Sentinel as well.
And a Sentinel, which is very tasty to sort of get rid of those pesky Crabane that you might see, or, a Bat Swarm.
Courage 3, though. Crabane.
That doesn't help when you roll a 6.
So best courage of any flyer with the Warbat.
Facts.
Well, fair enough. They are very good models.
Can you command a model to drop the heirloom?
No.
So I know you can't pass it.
because it's not a light object.
Oh,
Or is it
okay,
not?
It is a
well,
light
you can't do
object,
that.
but
It's
it's
not.
got the special power on it.
I doubt it.
I have never done it. Because I always roll a 6 and pick up the heirloom, so it doesn't usually matter to me.
Apart from when you play Dave Farmer, though.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Stupid
Okay.
farmer. Anyway, it's got the magic, which is the main thing, to sort of command people through and be able to get to the heirloom, or even just commanding like a bat swarm who's picked up the heirloom 6 inches and then murking it. It's got a D7 front line. Excuse me, backed up by Fight 5 and a 6-inch banner. James said he's got a very strong battle line. Mine is better. So it's got a bodyguard. It's not scared of terror.
Doesn't cause terror.
I think this is very, very, very potent.
I am wondering what we think this list doesn't do, because
What are its
kill
weak-
anything?
Exactly, that's why mine's better.
is that the only thing it doesn't do?
It doesn't have
Yeah.
great movement, like I
Movement.
said. It doesn't
It's got
really.
Madril now, so it's better than the way it's normally run.
Yeah, but like it's not got, it's not excellent movement. It's not the most maneuverable army you could.
Yeah, it's got 2 knights. That's about it.
Yeah. It is all strength 3.
I think that's the biggest drawback, personally. All strength 3.
Galadriel is hit or miss. I guess they never.
It's a miss.
Huh?
Like Ash, let's say you play Witch King Sully
Yes.
or something like that. Say maybe Sam. Like Boromir might not do that much, and then how do you kill the numbs?
So against Witch King Sully, my version, which we'll see very, very soon, I think it's fine because Boromir just stands there being transfixed, gives a 12-inch banner. We both kill each other on 6s, but I kill.
Boromir with that big 12-inch banner, yeah.
Sorry, 12-inch diameter of a banner. So yeah, Boromir just stands there giving his 6-inch banner. And I outfight Witch King Sully with the fight 5, both needing 6s to kill. It does become a problem with Sam's list because he just blasts Boromir into oblivion. And I'm constantly on the floor. So I actually wouldn't give myself a favourable matchup against Sam. Galadriel potentially transfixing Saruman, if I win priority, could be an option. But
that's
then
what
again,
I tried to do last night. It did not work.
Then
I would-
again,
I would-
like
I would, as a bit of advice, Ash, I would cast. Don't just spend 1 and a 3. Spend 2 and a 3.
You will roll a 3 high every time.
because you've got good resist, because you get to re-roll your resist.
What just seems Galadriel is just. Even when I used her at tiers, she just does wit. She's like Gandalf to me.
I think I rolled like a double 1,
You should
and
just stop
then
using magic, Sam.
She's just. I don't know. Like she just doesn't cast sometimes, and it's
I'm
just.
gonna 1
dead.
dice 6 for free. Command Saruman every single time.
Yeah, if she's as good
he
as the
totally
mouth
will
is
as
for
well.
Ash,
Because
then
Ashley fucking Walger.
My Saruman will not be in range, FYI. Just
Yeah, that's the thing, because he just sits back with his horse. I mean, I could get a lucky shot and kill his horse, but you never know. I think the shooting potential could be a little bit annoying for Sam, but then again, as we said, D6 is pretty difficult to actually take down.
It doesn't have like a glaring weakness. It ticks a lot of the meta boxes that we want these kinds of lists to tick with, like fearless, high fight, a big banner, D7.
We've also got fight 6. So
Blind
Sam's
Fight
one
6.
of Sam's things is that he uses is a big. I don't know, because I do grind better than Sam, ish. Like his Witch King Saladin can't reliably kill 2 Guard of the Fountain Court a turn. Also, I've got the fight 6 pike support, so they have to strike. If they roll a 1, they're also in trouble. You know,
there are ways of negating that, i.e., blasting them out of the spear
yeah,
spot.
but if you're blasting Guard of the Fountain Court, sorry, a Guard of the Galatharim Court away, then big bad Bozza is just waltzing in.
Yeah, no,
causing
but like
carnage.
I do have a Witch King.
Witch King on the way, yeah, Witch King on the way in, trying to kill dudes, tries to cast on Boromir. You know, if he does that successfully, then Saruman's free to help his combat.
Here's the thing: what I would do is you just let Boromir be transfixed every single turn, and then I have 6 might, and then last turn when I need to do something, I've got 3 will, and I'll just resist his spell and then do exactly what
That's
I want.
fine, but then Saruman is then spending the game not having to worry about casting on Boromir, and he can be helping the Witch King.
Yeah, but the Witch King deteriorates though. Sam's only got 13 will.
What if
The
you
Witch
get tap
King.
willed?
Good point. You can do that. If you sap will me, I think
realizing what his own list does.
I think I'd probably chuck
1 and spam your might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't said this, and then when I play you, I was just gonna sap will.
Well, no, I know you can sap will, but like it still stands by the fact that it does. The Witch King deteriorates a lot quicker than a Boromir that you just don't resist with.
Yeah, especially if you're using as a hitting piece as well. He's not going to be
as soon as you
around
charge
too
into
long.
combat, it's a roll off, and I've got more might than you just to expend. Like if you lose that roll off, then you've only got Saruman to do with, and you know.
You might not really have more might to expend if you're having to save it or use it to help with your casting, though, with your resisting.
Does 2 dice?
Well, you're just not bothering resisting.
Yeah, but if he's having to save that might for late game to then have it to resist when he needs to late game, then he doesn't have as much of it to use during the game.
Is 2
Yeah,
dice
I don't
lower
think he
fight?
needs it.
Is 2 dice lower fight with banner more reliable than 2 dice higher fight without banner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that means you do have to blast Boromir every single turn.
Yeah, but so you get sap willed, and then he's blasted.
Blasted.
That's
If
it.
you successfully blast will first time, like sap will, sorry, first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's gonna spend will to resist that otherwise with the 6 might.
Yeah, so it might not be that easy, and you could have already
Yeah,
taken
yeah,
a fair
but
few
that's-
casualties by then.
You could probably do that for a majority.
And that's another thing is like Galadriel can still transfix you as
Yeah.
well. So you don't always have to, like, a worst case scenario for you is I win the roll off, I tag the Witch King, I then transfix Saruman, and then Boromir goes in and causes carnage. Like that can happen. That's not unrealistic, you know.
But I just won't let that happen, would I?
What do you mean?
Why would I
Well,
have?
if you're trying to kill warriors with the Witch King, it's not really something you can avoid.
No, I'm saying that
Yeah.
if that's why I said 2 dice with a banner. Is there a case where you need to have the Witch King in because 2 dice with a banner is better than 2 dice without a banner?
I think Ashby has put Boromir in a position using other models where he'd still always be in range of his line.
No, but if he's blasted,
If he's blasted,
If he's
it's
blasted on
fine.
the floor, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I don't need the Witch King there, so they can always cast regardless and go within.
But that surely only works if you go first. Because otherwise he
Maybe
gets to stand up.
transfixed.
Okay, if you're transfixing and blasting him, I mean that's the perfect term, but I don't think that's going to happen very often.
Like if I win priority, I just charge Boromir into 2
Considering
models.
Ash has got more might than you to call moves as well.
You can reliably blast Boromir when there's a model in front of him because I can't resist. But
I just blast Boromir himself. If you're not going to resist it.
if Boromir's in combat, then if I actually manage to get Boromir in combat and he needs to stand up for a turn, like you just chuck 1 will and then just spend a lot of might to
that's
do
not,
it because
that's
I've got
not a great
12
thing
might.
to do though. Like I roll a 5, you roll a 2, you spend 3 might, you kill. You're say if I blasted you off your horse previously, you then kill 1 or whatever, and then like with sap wills, like I don't think it's as easy as just having all 3 will and spending 1, spending all the might, spending 1, spending more might, spending 1, because you won't have that.
I did say at the start, it's, definitely a favourable matchup for you.
Yeah.
What I mean is like it isn't too bad. It could go my way or your way, but I would expect more than likely for you to take it. But in Lords of Battle, for example, good luck killing D7, and also you've got to take shooting on your way in. So scenario dependent. It could go.
You can say to him, "Good luck killing D7," but it's
Yeah.
also hard for you to kill his D6.
But it isn't because you can also chuck Madril in, who's strike 4, give him 2 guard spear supports, and he's reliably killing a Numenorian every turn. Like I've got Madril is a good hitter when you pair him with 2 pikes and a banner. If my banner stood up,
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine as long as Galadriel does what she needs to do.
Yeah, because otherwise Sam's Witch King and Seladan could do a fair amount of damage. Obviously, they're into D7, which is hard for them, but
it's more just Galadriel. You just need to be able to get the compel off and transfix to limit their whatever. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Sam's list is definitely good. Like that's why I said I think it's a top of silly nervous list. It's very well constructed and it does well. Like that's just what it is. It is a great list, and it's
this is good. Jay's used it. That's not like be around.
Jay's won
Jay's
unnumbered tiers with something like this essentially.
He had Gwaihir and stuff, but he
had Gwaihir and Legolas. I've got Madril.
Yeah, which is major differences.
I've totally had Madril solo a Ringwraith on Fellbeast and totally kill the Ringwraith on Fellbeast very easily. So
it's more of a case of it
can happen.
It's gonna do well. I think you just need to have Galadriel perform. That's all.
Yeah, but yeah, fair enough. Let us know in the comments what you think of my list.
And following that exciting discussion, we are going to move on to an even more exciting,
even more nervous.
We even talk about
exciting.
this.
So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode. It's Ash's Witch King Sully. Take us through it. If you
excuse me. So I took this list to Worcester. I went onto my notes. I clicked copy and then pasted it in, and we're now taking it to Stirling. Yippee! So I did win the Worcester 100 with this list. It is the Witch King with a crown on a horse. Elliot, another poor element of
it's
this.
3-14-3.
Where? But the viewers can't see that.
Yeah, but I have the stats ready because I'm prepared and organised.
That's good for me. So yeah, my Witch King has 3 might, 14 will, and 3 fate. I've then got 4 orc trackers, 7 Morannon orcs with shield and spear, 7 black numbs. I've got Shagrat with his special shield. I've got 2 orc trackers, 3 Morannons with shield and spear, 1 Morannon orc with just a spear, 3 black numbs, and then we've got my favourite, the Mouth of Sauron with an armoured horse, 4 orc trackers, 2 Morannon orcs with shield spear, 1 Morannon orc with a spear, 3 black numbs, and then everybody's favourite, Suladan the Serpent Lord with an armoured horse, who I'm currently painting up. If it's not going to blur, oh yeah. And 3 separate riders. So I come in at a above average total of 44 models. I have 10 bows and 11 white points. What does everybody think?
I think everyone should go check our Worcester preview to see the breakdown of this list. Thank you for watching. I wish I was joking.
How does it match up to the scenarios? How does it match up in good versus evil? Do we think Witch King Sully is better
it's
in
slightly
good versus
worse
evil?
in good versus evil because good models tend to be higher courage and have more things to deal with that sort of thing.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it, mate.
Capture analysis.
Capture control, nice, is good. Recon, 3 separate riders, Suladan, March, other stuff, pretty
3
good.
heroes on Cav is 3 Cav heroes is the more important thing about that.
Well, and expendable Cav to get off the board.
Yeah, but like you've also got 3 mounted heroes, 2 with March to go with them.
Yeah.
Whereas James is like 4 with Knights, kind of.
Yeah, mate, you just stick a Lendo with them and then you lose.
Adam, what do you think about this classic Witch King Suladan list?
Does the job.
That is
Do we
literally
think
best words.
You heard it here, folks.
It's going to be nerfed?
So the only thing that needs to happen to this list, 2 things. Black Null should go to 10 points, and Suladan's banner should only affect Serpent Horde.
Nah, change the Crown of Morgul to like 40 points.
It's another option.
Is it the Witch King that's the problem?
The Witch King
is it,
and Suladan are probably the 2 most OP heroes currently in the game, so I'd say so.
So Suladan, I still believe Suladan is not OP if he's in a pure list because Serpent Horde really need him. Like he's still a really flimsy leader.
So when you get a 6-inch banner, he doesn't have to be the leader. He's a good mounted combat hero.
The fact he's a banner on models that cause terror with Harbinger who are D6. The whole point is he's in an army which is D4.
Yellow defense,
Yeah. Make the alliance yellow.
No, just make the banner only affect Serpent Horde. Like, do you really think the Black Numbs...
That would destroy it, to be fair.
But no, it'd still make Serpent Horde fine. Like, Serpent Horde...
I mean, this list, that would...
Fine, no, mate, I've run this list for like a year and a half, but I don't run it anymore because I'm just bored of everyone taking it. I want this to be nerfed because I want to be able to run my Mordor and not look like a cheeseburger.
A part of me does sort of just wish that we saw more Mordor.
Yeah, exactly.
And not because then those 150-ish points which are being put into Sully and Cav is being spent on X other Mordor hero. And I just think that Mordor on its own, obviously, I don't think, the Witch King is a strong focal point of Mordor in general. So I'm not sure that's the issue. It's just, adding in Suladan is just a bit
The Saladin Alliance is too good.
Yeah,
let's be fair.
But I'm not sure the Witch King is the main issue. Like the Witch King can be good. Magic's good. Like that's fine. I don't think that's really bad for the game. Like in a pure Mordor list, I just think it'd be fun to see it these higher points. What do you spend those other points on? Or fun things you could take in Mordor.
Brilliant question. I would love if he couldn't take Citadel with this list, or if he didn't affect Mordor.
Yeah, what do you?
Because let's be honest, do you really think those Morans are looking across and thinking, "Oh, look, it's a servant banner. We love that one."
Let's feel inspired to,
That's our guy.
I don't like that. But the thing is,
Dark Marshal that gives you a banner.
Exactly. So this is the thing. I think you'd see the rise of the Marshal.
Next source book, The Rise of the Marshal.
The Rise of the Siren.
The trouble with the Marshal is he doesn't count as a banner.
Right, mate.
And he's a lot more points.
And he doesn't affect heroes.
Yeah.
That's why Sully is just mega good.
So that's better and cheaper.
Yeah. We see the rise of the Razgoosh. Razgoosh and Bat, lol. That is a foreshadow for a very special video that will be coming out next week.
Yippee!
If you've made it this far into the podcast.
I had another point to talk to Sam about, or just ask Sam. I can't remember what it was now.
To do with
the painting. No, it was to do with his list.
We're onto your list now, my friend.
No, I know.
Do you have nothing else to say about your amazing Witch King Sutherland list that has terrorized the GBHL?
It has genuinely terrorized the GBHL as well. I would rather have my list than Sam's. I think my list is better.
I think we all agree with that.
Is the mouth now finally better than Musga?
Come on, that's a good question.
That is a throwback to
this was a huge debate. I don't know how many pods ago, but
I've actually just realised this is episode 30 of our podcast. So.
Come on,
the mouth and Musga play different roles. Actually,
I wonder what episode that was. I wonder if we have any historians, Stephen Debby, who could tell us which episode that was in and a timestamp. Let us know.
So yeah, it's clearly the mouth is better than Musga, as
Musga
demonstrated.
Better in AOL, actually.
This is a can of worms being opened that I'm gonna.
Can't take Musga in AOL. No, sorry, the mouth in AOL.
That's the point, James.
Yeah,
I'm gonna seal
this
can of
worse
worms
in every way
before we spill over. So, any final thoughts on Ash's Witch King Suladan list?
Classic.
Yeah, it is what it
Probably
is,
win
and it is
his
time
games.
tested, and he knows what he's doing with it. So
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win Stirling, and then the finale.
Guaranteed, but will he win with Boromir? Is the question.
Yeah. I'm gonna win Stirling, and then Elliot's whole race podcast just becomes a finale dice off. And then you never know.
my race podcast, what? It's on our channel.
Sorry,
the race if you
but
don't
you're the
know.
host. You're the host as the host.
Yes.
No, I think it's great. Adam, who's out of mine, James's and Sam's, which combination of lists would you be taking to Stirling?
My opinion doesn't matter, Adam. So you crack on.
No, which are your favourite ones?
So I personally, just because of what I own, would probably be taking the same as you, Ash. I quite like your Galadriel combo with Minas Tirith. But the one that just made me laugh and actually think about it is really good is Sam's evil list. I really like it.
It is good. It is definitely Chad.
I'm so glad I didn't take the Watcher.
I think Saruman linked with another good Compeller is so good. Sorcerer's Blast is just the best spell in the game, I think. Just the sort of angles you can do, like people like Elendil. You know, when people put Elendil on their list, they just think, oh, I'm immune to magic. Elendil's not killing a single model that game if someone knows how to use Saruman. You don't need to cast them.
Pretty Chad.
Do you think that Sam's read into his evil list, carrying forward to the finale, the final GBHL 100 that is also 800 points, do you think it carries over into good versus evil? Sorry, carries over away from good versus evil?
Yeah,
and
it's a
is
blue
it
and blue.
just a regular meta? Because I think it does. I think it's quite good, as Sam has said.
I would
Saruman.
argue better.
I'd say
against
it's
evil.
better into evil.
Yeah.
It's better into evil, yeah, because you've got Black Mums and Harbinger, and actually against someone like Suladan, just blasting him a couple times is so good.
And you bully Witch Kings a lot.
Yeah. I think you might be onto something here.
Is this
Well, he thought he was on
best-
something. He thought he was on something with the Watcher. I believe 2023 was going to be the year that he made the Watcher good. End quote.
Yeah, until I didn't come on the board in mine and Ash's game at all, and then I thought, oh, this one was really bad.
Shout out, having wargaming. That was a nervous
It didn't
night.
happen.
I'll roll a 3+, no, I'll 3+, no, I'll 3+. Oh, I'm dead. I've lost the game.
No.
It didn't arrive.
Potentially foreshadowing, if we were going to do some kind of Christmas extravaganza gaming session, is there a way we could do that at the Hammond War Club? That would be incredibly nervous. It does have a
They
bar.
they do have a
They
Christmas.
do. Yeah.
Ooh,
They do
they
do a
have a
Christmas-
Christmas day. Yeah,
Imagine there with a
Would
bar.
they let us film there?
yeah.
Also, doing it at Mum's house allows us to have like a lot more time and a lot more personal space.
And the
True, it would
Smiths
just
playing in
be-
the background.
And the Smiths.
Yeah, I think we are just about done here. So that is going to do it for our Stirling preview. Best of luck to the boys. going
Comment
weekend.
below what
Whose
you
list.
think is the favorite list. If you've made it this far, put
Make
a
a
like.
prediction on where each of them will come in the standings. Ash.
Yeah,
Sam,
that'd be
please.
fun. Why are we not doing a
second
tier
and
list, Elliot? The
third.
viewers love a tier list.
Because you do tier lists like for our lists, and there's only 3 of you going. So
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
tier
3
list.
terrible lists.
yeah, okay,
Ash.
more.
Sam, James.
I'm going James, Sam, Ash.
Ooh.
Since you thought my opinion didn't matter, so.
Oh.
And on that note, we will close out this episode. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.